Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way show. A little bit past 7. Well, actually, right on the nose at 7 p.m. I'm doing good today. Look at me, right on the nose at 7 p.m. on the East Coast, obviously. Out of New York City, and happy to be chatting with you on AMA. A lot of you have been asking me questions over the last couple of shows, and I've been trying to focus my shows on specific issues so that I make sure I get those out, only taking a couple here or there, maybe a super chat here or there, that kind of thing. So I wanted to make sure I provided a time for an AMA where you can ask me all those questions, and I'm happy to walk down whatever road that you would like me to walk down. So that's why, again, I try to do an AMA every week. I can't always do it, but I try my best to do so, and I hope this time we will also be able to answer a bunch of questions. But as always, whenever I start these things, I do the warm-up gig. It's the warm-up gig. And my warm-up here is on the transition team. A lot of people don't really understand what a transition team is, why does it matter, all of those things. And I get it. It's not clear. The transition team became kind of, I think, open for us during Obama. Why? Because Obama did something very savvy. And some of you may not like Obama, but I don't care, still savvy. If you remember, because when Obama won, he does bomb people, so that's kind of where that mind, but he does like to bomb people. By the way, President Obama, the most impressive thing about him is he was able to win a Nobel Peace Prize while bombing 7 countries. I mean, that's thoroughly impressive. I don't think anyone will ever beat that record. I mean, how many countries can you bomb and win a Nobel Peace Prize? Just saying. I got a feeling 7 is going to be the top for a long time. I don't know if anyone's ever going to beat that number. You could probably bomb 1, 2, but 7, I mean, thoroughly impressive. Any case, the issue about the transition team that Obama did very well is when he won his election in 2008, everybody was worried about the big crash that was coming that we were in the midst of. So he kind of pushed this idea of the office of the president-elect. Not really a thing, but kind of a thing. He made it a thing. Well done. I mean, he had a little stance with his office of the president-elect, not the president. Well done. I mean, that was very well done. And when he did that, he made it to where now others do it. Trump did it too afterwards, right? They copied, right? This was now a precedent. He said, I'm going to make this up, and then you're going to copy. And people did. And he started talking about his transition. Smart deal. I liked the idea. I actually thought it was kind of cool. But why do people go through this? 2 reasons why there's a transition team. And I'll give you both Harris's and Trump's. Harris has a transition team also. What did Harris do? Harris picked a guy named, is it Eunice? I think Eunice Abraham. She picked that guy. You might go, Larry, why the hell do I care whether she picks Eunice Abraham or not? Why do I care who Harris picks? Here's the reason why. It's the same guy that Biden picked for his transition team. And you might again say, Larry, why the hell do I care? Here's why. She's telling you she's not going to change a damn thing. That's what she's telling you. She is telling you she is not going to change a damn thing. And that's, if you like that, if you're happy with her policies, you should be happy then. Good for you. But that's just not what she's saying. This isn't just for you listening. It's for some people more important. All the people currently in Biden's administration. She's saying, I'm using the same guy for my transition team. What does that mean? There's no real transition. There'll be some, but not much. Now, why would that matter? Well, if I'm now in the Biden administration, and I think when Harris becomes president, she's going to reboot everybody, I'm not going to be very loyal to this Harris thing. I'm going to make sure this sucks. I'm going to be out of a job. You better somehow make sure I have a job. Well, this keeping the same transition team leader that Biden has signals to them, okay, my job is safe. I'm good. Because all they care about is their jobs. Permanent Washington does not care about the country at all. Permanent Washington cares about being permanent Washington. So as long as they can be that, they're good. So what she just did, it's a savvy move. Again, I'm again, some of you don't like Harris. Doesn't mean it isn't a smart move. Harris picking him signals to the people in the establishment that we're still good. You've been grifting off of Biden for years. You can grift off me too. We're good. Don't be upset. Not just that, all you people who are right now in charge of everything and could literally stab me in the back really bad, could screw things up really bad for me if, say, some Trump people decide, hey, what about a job with us? Right? Oh, no, I'm good. Harris is on my side. It's a great call for her. It's the right answer for her. Well done in that regard. It just makes sure nothing changes. And of course, if you want Harris to be president, you probably don't want anything to change. You're probably good, right? I mean, she's talking about change, but you want it to be just like it is now. So I think that's how that works, right? I think that's the issue. I think that's why she does what she does. Okay, but why a transition team in general, particularly with someone like Trump? There are several reasons. Number one, the Plum Book. If any of you have heard the Plum Book. The Plum Book was the book that the president uses and all the people that he or she has to replace, or at least make sure are staffed in some way. There were about 9,000 people. I'm not joking, give or take. It's about 9,000 people. Out of the 9,000 people that they've replaced, there's no way a president can replace them all. What's the transition team do? It helps him to replace those people. So now you put in this person, that person, they start hiring people. They start under the guise of the president, they start hiring people. I told you guys this weeks ago. You said, why isn't, RFK Jr. doing X, Y, and Z? I said RFK Jr. has to also negotiate, not just him. He must negotiate others too, not just him. If he jumps in and all of a sudden becomes the whatever, HSS director or AG or whatever that is, they can make sure that he fails, give him no resources, give him no support, and he fails. And they go laugh at him, go, see, RFK Jr., you were wrong. Ha ha, out you go. But what if he gets to put in 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 400 people? That's real change. So the transition team gets a chunk of that 9,000 people is how that works. So he might get 100, he might get 200, might get 50, whatever. He'll get a chunk. Tulsi Gabbard will get a chunk. One would assume Tulsi Gabbard will focus on the idea of defense and military, all of those jobs. I assume, don't know to be true. One would assume that Bobby Kennedy Jr. will get people in the health administration, those types of things. That's why you need a transition team to fill those 9,000 jobs. Piece one. But piece two, the same way that people say, well, why doesn't Bobby just get this job or that job? Because it's against the law. I'm not joking. Legally, Trump cannot say, give me an endorsement and I will make you this. That's called quid pro quo. He can't do that, so he won't do that. He instead says he's on the transition team, which means when you transition, he'll be on it in some way. That's how that works also, right? So that's the second piece. But it also signals something. It signals, just like it signaled when it came to Harris, I'm signaling no change. All you guys are safe. Don't worry about it. You grifted off of Biden. You grifted off me. Oh, good. Don't get scared. I got you. Vote for me. Don't screw things over. You'll be fine. Good signaling for her. He does the same thing. Trump signals when he puts Gabbard, when he puts RFK Jr., when he lets Vance do a lot of work. That when he triggers that, he also signals, hey, look, this is the kind of administration we're going to have. So everyone is signaling and then helping to replace. That is why they created a transition team. That's what the transition team actually is. And it came to the forefront with Obama. Obama made that the forefront, and then other people copied, and it's actually a brilliant move. So I put that up to so you understand that's why they do that. That's why there was no specific, I'm going to make Vivek this. I'm going to make Tulsi Gabbard that, because that would be against the law. That's the reason. Quid pro quo means they can't do it. And then we want to signal, make everybody happy. Imagine if you're working for Biden now and you thought you were going to get 8 beautiful years, maybe 12 or 16, if your vice president could win, and all of a sudden here comes Kamala going, well, maybe I don't want you. Oh, well, then I might have to make some big mistakes and make you look really bad. That actually could happen. So, yes. Any case, I hope that was clear, so that you're okay with that. Let me, if I could, grab a couple of comments. I'll grab some comments based upon that first, and I'll grab some other questions and such, if there are any here. So, Roy says, unless you're on it, I'm not interested, but nice to know Trump's coming out regarding his transition. See that? We support transitioning, Roy. There we go. We can all transition. Oh, good. I love that. It's good. I do not think I will be on any transition team at all. Not at all. People have asked me that. Larry, would you be the libertarian that Trump appoints? I don't think so, to be forward with you. I don't think I want to be part of a Trump administration, to be forward with you. People tend to not do well after that. That tends to be like the last place you go. So, you know what? I think I'm going to pass on that one. But thank you for it. I do appreciate that. I don't think that's going to work. So, yes. William says, well, the Americans bomb a drone strike, they're resting in peace, so he got a price for it. Yeah, I tease, but what you just said is correct, right? I know I tease, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. All righty. Michael Vossia, how are you, sir? He says, oh, good call. So no matter what the rallies, much like Biden being Obama 2.0, Harris signals she'll be Obama 3.0. Yes, and the people there know we're safe. We're safe. Thank you. We're safe. It's all good. We're safe. All right, I think I covered everybody from that aspect. So let me go back to just questions in general, if I could. All righty, first, Sarah asks, I want to remember to ask you about ballot access in New York. Was there a decision? There was. There's a state case and a federal case. The state case was decided and we lost. We will probably yet again appeal, but we lost again. Yet again, shame on those judges. New York State judges are an embarrassment. They're just so bad and don't care. And of course, what they were talking about was, well, does it really matter? That's, of course, what the lawyers, again, horrible, and I don't mean horrible as in incompetent lawyers on the Democratic Party side. They're actually competent lawyers. They're good lawyers. They're horrible human beings. There's a difference, right? The lawyers for the DNC and the CCP are talented lawyers. They are. They're just terrible humans. That they would actually take this case, fight this case, insult people, make everyone feel like garbage, insinuate that everyone's lying and corrupt when they are, without question, the people who are lying and corrupt. So just clear, they're competent lawyers, horrible human beings who they don't, but they should go home, look in the mirror, and vomit. They will not. They will go home and feel happy because they're bad people, but that's okay. Those people will be fighting again, one more time, trying as we appeal again, probably in about 2 more weeks. Within 2 weeks, this has to be done. This has to be done by September 11th is the cutoff date in New York State. So we have one more appeal before that time at the state level. There is also a federal case. And guess who will be a witness, I think, in a federal case? This guy. I'll be a witness coming up this Wednesday in downtown Manhattan at the Southern District of New York is where we'll be doing it. So we'll have another case, this federal case this time. If this one fails, you have a shot at going to the Supreme Court. I hope we will. They did not take my case to the Supreme Court last time when I tried this, but I'm not Bobby Kennedy Jr., so perhaps they will take it this time. So I hope I answered your question. I am still happy. I'm trying to keep going. Mike says status of New York is still under appeal. Yes, I don't want to quit this. This is critical. We've got to push this thing forward. New York, California, it's the way we move towards the 5%. New York there will be at least 200,000 votes for Bobby Kennedy Jr. in New York State. At least, if not 500,000 or more, right? If not more, maybe 1 million. Who the hell knows? There'll be a lot. We need 8 million total to break 5%. So I think we can possibly make it happen if we get on the ballot in New York State. If we don't get on the ballot in New York State, maybe people write in, I guess. But write-ins, I mean, we're not going to get 200,000 write-ins. I mean, yes, we could, I guess, but probably not. That's our issue. So that is why I'm concerned about that. Mike goes on to say, so far Bobby's stuck on Michigan, Wisconsin, and most likely North Carolina. Everywhere else, we're good with the swing state and close states. Yes, the general rule is the campaign is looking at I'm looking at what they're picking, at about a 15% gap. In other words, if the assumed gap is 15% red or 15% blue or more, that is considered not a swing state. And it doesn't matter what Bobby Kennedy does in that. Give him the 5%, give him 10%. Who cares? Trump and or Harris are going to win that state, right? New York is going to be more than 15 points. California, more than 15 points. In the case of blue, Oklahoma, more than 15 points, right? I mean, these are states, Kansas, more than 15 points. I mean, these are states that's easy. Yeah, DC, Harris. The last time DC, I think Trump lost DC, but I'm not like 60 points. It was crazy how many points he lost. So DC, who cares? So those types of things, you want to make sure that it's about 15 points you're looking at. I hope that was clear on that piece. So Mike goes on to say, Mike, you're very busy tonight. For the contingent election, I could see RFK winning if he gets a faithless elector, and there's a 25-25 state delegation tie. There's a compromise candidate. I believe only EV getters can be considered. Yes, that is correct. Yes. How the rule works, for you guys who don't know this, the Congress picks the president, the Senate picks the vice president, and you can only pick it from the top 3 electoral vote getters. Oh, hold on. It's top 3? Yeah, I think it's only. No, I'm sorry. It is not electoral vote getters. No, it is top 3 of the popular vote. Once the Electoral College is unable to pick a president, Electoral College goes away. Electoral vote getters don't matter. It's only popular vote at that point. Popular vote is all that matters at that point, which is why I say popular vote matters. Both Bobby Kennedy Jr., popular vote matters. If there is any chance of a contingent election, and there isn't a high chance before, Mike, I think you're right. There's not a high chance of a contingent election. But it could happen. It's possible. You never know. Could happen. Mathematically, could happen. But I wouldn't be betting on that if I were you, but could happen. If there's any chance, it goes by popular vote. So you do want to make sure that he gets a popular vote. So yeah, I hope that the top 3 from I believe both the Senate and the House. Top 3 vote getters for the VP, top 3 vote getters for the president. So, but this is the part so for those who don't know this is what will actually happen. And this may be odd, this is actually a way to be forward that Bobby Kennedy Jr. could become the vice president. Or, believe it or not, someone like Nicole Shanahan could become vice president. And this is very niche, and I'm not promising this. It is really odd chances, but could happen in theory. In theory. All right. If what you say does happen, Mike, and it goes to a contingent election, and they can't find a winner, and they find a winner, and let's say, for example, they pick Trump as winner because he has more states. He has 26 states. He's the president, right? Well, Vance is not vice president. No. The vice president's either Bobby Kennedy Jr. or Kamala Harris. Remember, when these rules were written, we didn't have parties. For those who don't remember, parties are not part of the Constitution. We made that shit up. That's not a thing. The Constitution, prior to this change, said the person who got the most votes was president. The person who got the second number of votes was the vice president. That's how it worked. That's why the vice president was usually of a different thought process and ran the Senate. So they were a foil to the president, not a comrade. That's not how the founding fathers didn't want that. So we made that up to make things easier for parties to destroy our system, and it worked. So now when you go to the 12th Amendment is there without parties. So that's why they said top vote getters. Does this make sense in today's world? Well, this was written 200 years ago. That's why. So what would happen is, sake of argument, Trump becomes president. The Senate now picks. They could make Harris the vice president, or they could make Bobby Kennedy Jr. the vice president. Odds are they make Bobby Kennedy Jr. the vice president. That would actually be a way that RFK Jr. could become the vice president. If this goes to an election, Vance is not the vice president, and neither is Walz. The Constitution says no. There's no such thing as voting for a vice president in the Constitution. That's not how that worked. So it doesn't exist. So now, what about the opposite happens? What if it's Harris? And she goes, I'm not going to be Trump's vice president. I don't care what you pick. You can pick whatever you want. No. They might do that on purpose. I'm not joking. If the Senate, and remember, the people who select are the newly elected Congress. So if the newly elected Congress is Republican, if it is, right, they might say, you know what? We're going to put Harris, you the vice president. And she might go, I'm not being vice president. Oh, okay. Which is what happens. Well, now the Senate must pick a vice president. That's how they can put Vance back in. Or anybody else. They had to pick a president, vice president when Nixon and Agnew, Spiro Agnew resigned in the 70s. And the Senate picked them. They went, Ford, you're president. Why? Because we said so. And we're the Senate. And that's how Ford became president. Ford wasn't elected. President Ford was not elected. They went, hey, you're president now. Okay. That's what happened. I know. We have a democracy. No, we don't. Anyway, my point being, that's what would happen. So there was a chance that could happen. Let me go the opposite way. what happens, and if this happens, and again, I'm just saying if this happens, guys, I'm not promising this or saying even the odds are high, but Mike brought it up. It's an AMA. I will always walk down the road with you guys. You know I will. So I'll walk down this road too. All right. So again, first case, Trump actually wins the goes to contingent election. Trump has 26 states. For those who don't remember, once the Electoral College, if it cannot pick a president by 270 electoral votes, if that happens, the Electoral College is basically dissolved. It goes to the Congress. The new income Congress has to pick the president. Each congressional group gets one vote per state, whether they're one person from your state or 50. Does not matter. You get one vote. So Wyoming is as powerful as California. It's all it takes. Only states vote. Remember, this was written 200 years ago. Territories don't vote. D.C. doesn't vote. Virgin Islands don't vote. Puerto Rico doesn't vote. Only states. Majority rule wins. Majority is 26. Whoever has 26 votes, 26 states, wins. That's how it works. Now, of course, what would happen? That happens in January when they seat the new Congress. So over the next 2 months, it's going to be back and forth fighting. I'll give you this if you want my way. I'll give you this if I want my. There'll be horse trading back and forth, right? There is a chance that RFK Jr. could do that unless it's obvious, meaning Trump clearly has 26 states. And if anyone has 26 states, he can win it. The odds of Harris having 26 states are astronomical. I mean, she could, but I mean, astronomical. She'd have to win every swing state. Could happen. I don't see it. But yeah, you never know. Sake of argument, Trump wins that. He's 26 states. Now the Senate can only pick either Harris, by Constitution, Harris, or RFK Jr., assuming he gets the 5% of the points that we need to get, right? One of those two. That's it. That's all they can pick. What if they purposely, because it's a Republican, they go, we're putting Harris, you're vice president. She goes, well, that doesn't mean Trump's vice president. Are you crazy? I'm not doing that. No. Oh, okay. You refuse? Okay, great. You resign. Wonderful. We'll find somebody else. And they pick whoever they want. Or they pick Bobby Kennedy Jr. And he goes, okay, he's the vice president. Now, the crazy part, what if Harris actually wins this somehow? I don't know how she would, but sake of argument, she does. She has 26 states. She wins almost all the swing states, trashes the entire system. She has a crazy thing, whatever. I don't know how this works. She does. So now they said, who's going to be the vice president? If it's Bobby Kennedy Jr., he says yes. He doesn't say no. Trump says no. Trump says no. Trump's not going to be Harris's vice president. That's never going to happen. They pick Bobby Kennedy Jr. He goes, yeah. He's vice president. That could actually happen. Craziest. He becomes president. This goes through contingent election. No one can get 26 states. Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s team start negotiating stuff. You know I'm on that negotiating team. We start negotiating, figuring out who's going to get what. They all agree. Bobby Kennedy Jr. wins. He's the president. They got to pick Trump or Harris, be vice president. Neither one of them would ever be Bobby Kennedy's vice president. Never going to happen. So you're going to pick Shanahan. So that could actually happen. The Senate could go, fine, we'll take Shanahan. Fine, whatever. Yeah, we can do it. That could actually happen. So that could be possible. Or they can do something crazy like Vance, or that could happen. But that's how that would work. I hope I went down a rabbit hole. But you asked the question, I wanted to give it to you. That's how it actually would work. So yes. Icy says, voting Chase over Harris and Trump. I'm telling you where I live in New York, I'm not voting Harris or Trump. I'm not. Neither one of them get my vote. Not. I'm either, if Kennedy's on the ballot, I'm voting Kennedy. If he's not, I might write in Chase. But I'm never voting Harris or Trump. I'm just not. You guys do what you feel is best. I'm not voting. I get you, Icy. I totally get it. Libertad. Thank you. I like that. Very good. All righty. Any other questions I need to grab here? All right. William is on your side. He says, well, I was thinking of voting Libertarian, but they picked Chase, so made it easy. Trump only picked for me. You could pick Bobby Kennedy Jr. too. Well, you don't have to go Trump. Just saying, you don't have to. You can go. You can if you want to. You can go Trump. You can go Bobby Kennedy Jr. I'm not saying you have to. You should do what you think is right. Let me see if he's in. Is he in? What state? William, what state are you in? If you, I don't know. Is he going to be in a ballot in your state? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be in your state. We'll see. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. Let me see if I can go down here if I can. Shelly says, maybe we should start over again in Roanoke. Some days, I wish that were true. William goes on to say, wish it was Dave Smith. You know, Dave Smith, he's a friend of mine. I like him. We get along fine. I don't think he wants to be a politician. He hasn't told me that, so I don't have the inside information. I'm doing this from what I see. I feel like he'd rather be a pundit slash activist. That's what I feel. But to be forward with you, William, he would be making a splash. You can guarantee that he'd be making a big splash. That's for sure. He knows how to get on the press. He knows how to be, bombastic when he needs to be. He knows how to talk the way he needs to talk. So he'd be making a splash. I think you're right. He'd be making a big splash right now. I just don't know if he wants to do it, to be forward with you. Again, I have no inside information. I could be totally wrong. What I get from him is that he'd rather be doing what he's doing and rather not. This is brutal. I've run twice. It is horrible. People treat you terribly. The disrespect you get, right? If I'm sitting here being a pundit, most people ignore me. Okay, whatever, if you like me or not. But if I'm going to run for office, that's when they all come out and just insult you, your family, your friends turn on you. It's horrible. It's a terrible thing to do. So I don't know. Morgan says, Sharpe Mapster was a better choice in my humble opinion. I agree. Morgan, I agree. We would have raised tons of money. Tons of money. We might have raised, I think we would have raised more money than Dave Smith would have raised. I think we would have. And I say that because Dave Smith would have raised a lot of money, of course. He's talented. People know him, of course. But people see him as a pundit, right? So I think a lot of people have been like, I love you, Dave, but I'm not giving you that much money. I'll give you X dollars. People know I'm a politician. They've seen me run more than once. And people love Mapster from what he did. And he has lots of wealthy friends. We'd have raised tons of money. We'd have raised easily $10 million. Easily. So I agree. I think you're right. That was a better choice, which means we would have got more people talking, the whole deal. So yes. James says, I hate that RFK is trying to remove himself off the ballot in North Carolina right now. It's a punch in the gut for political freedom. Do you think RFK should be allowed to withdraw from the ballot in North Carolina? I'm of two minds here, James. I think you are absolutely right. I hate that he's doing it. I don't want this. I wanted him to run until the end. Of course I did. I understand why. I do. I get it. And I'm taking what I can get from this. But did I want this? No, of course not. I wanted him to run to the end. Of course I did. I want to be on all the ballots. Of course. I want him to fight to the death for every ballot. Of course. I did it. Of course. So I agree with you. I do not like this. I got to see if there's something we can draw out of it. I know it doesn't sound great, but look, you guys have never heard me just BS you. I'm telling you the truth. That's what I feel. I want us to fight the best of our ability. I don't, but do I think he should be allowed to withdraw from the ballot? Yes, I do. I don't think the state should have any control over how they write the ballot. They should have almost no control over it, right? The ballot should be open for everyone to put in whoever the hell they want. The idea that political parties control the ballot is unconstitutional and wrong and should not. And they make these loops, holes you got to jump through. Who cares? Somehow when California does their runoff, they put like 100 people or whatever it is on the ballot. And somehow that works. Somehow that works. We should have a very simple system. And if there's 5 or 10 or 20 people on the ballot, who the hell cares? You pull your name off. I don't care. I think we shouldn't be controlling this at all. It should be as open as possible. If you don't like the person, don't vote for them. It is that simple. So, yes. All right. Let's see here. That Libertarian lady says, what's your thoughts on Trump wanting to mandate insurance companies to pay for IVF, people trying to have kids? I didn't know that was a thing, to be forward with you, that he was mandating that. But my assumption is when you get whatever your medical insurance is, they pay for you having a kid, right? I mean, to be forward, I don't remember. I mean, my kids are old now. I don't remember. I don't remember what insurance we had. I know insurance paid for us. We had insurance. I don't know. I'm a little bit ignorant to this. This is a good question. I'm glad you asked me. I should do some homework on this. I don't know what they pay now. Like, I don't know how that works. I would expect insurance companies, the mandate should be whatever the agreement is with the individuals, right? If the agreement is, and again, I don't know this, so I'm ignorant to this piece. If the agreement is, if someone gets pregnant, you pay for them. Do they pay for other, I guess, feminine health? I guess a healthy woman, shouldn't she be made as healthy as she can be? I see the argument, I guess. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to come up with an answer in my head as I think this through. Or maybe you have to be clear on your insurance whether or not you cover this or not. Maybe that would be a better way. What I would want here is clarity. In other words, I would not want it to be vague that a woman gets insurance and believes that, whatever her reproductive health is, the insurance company takes care of it. And then she goes, I want IVF, and they go, no. Right? That would be wrong to me. You should know, hey, my insurance company covers all my issues, or it doesn't. Right? One or the other. I think you'd have to do that. I think transparency is the key versus mandates, if that makes any sense. Transparency has to be the key to me always. I would hate for a woman to be caught off guard and she gets insurance thinking she's covered and she's not. And then she goes to this RFV and it costs her, whatever, 80 grand and she can't afford it versus, oh, I thought, I'm covered or I'm not covered. I think should be the issue. So, okay. Joe says, who's libertarian Trump will appoint to the cabinet? I feel bad, libertarian. Let me do some homework on that and give you an actual answer. That wasn't a good enough answer for you. I need to give you a better one. Joe says, who is libertarian Trump will appoint to the cabinet? It won't be someone that's a real libertarian, Joe. It'll be like, well, I don't know. Ted Cruz said he was libertarian once. We'll appoint him. It'll be someone like that is what I think. It'll be some Republican who once said something libertarian like, and see what I just hooked you up. That is my gut. I don't think he'll put a real libertarian. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Angela has been talking that, that she's been chatting with him. I hope she's right. And to be forward, Angela has done some things I thought were not going to work that totally worked. So maybe she's right on this one too, right? Give credit where credit is due. She may be right on this one. So I hope she's right. I just don't have much. I don't have much faith and trust in knowing what libertarian is. I just don't have that much faith. I mean, maybe he will. I'm gonna hope for the best, but I'm not gonna hope for the best. I will be surprised if it's an actual libertarian. I hope it is. Joe, I hope it is. I hope I'm wrong. And 3 months or 4 months now, whenever, if he wins, you can laugh at me and go, ha ha, Larry, you were so wrong. It's a real libertarian. I hope so. But I got a feeling there's someone like that, right? It'll be, I don't know. It'll be Ben Shapiro, who once said a libertarian thing 5 years ago. There's your libertarian. It'll be someone like that, right? So that's what I think. So yes. Shelly says, so how do we get you on a transition team? Maybe if RFK Jr. wins, maybe, but otherwise, I don't know. Let's vote for, here's how we do it. Next time I tell you to vote for Lars Mapstead, vote for Lars Mapstead so that I can be the VP and be part of the transition team. There we go. We can do that. Absolutely. Yes. William says, Tulsi, RFK Jr. Vivek hopefully can shape the administration in a more liberty-minded manner. I hope so too. I do. I hope that's true. I am a little bit hesitant, but William, I hope, again, same idea. I hope I am wrong and they are great and they pick libertarians. That will be amazing. I'd be very happy if that's true. I just think I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm not very hopeful, right? I'm not very hopeful. But look, William, I'm not wrong that often. Here or there I am. I hope I'm wrong here. And I mean that with total sincerity. I hope in January, I come back here and go, holy crap, William, was I wrong? Trump won and put a ton of great libertarians in this case. I hope that's true. I would love to be wrong. Come back here and say, mea culpa, or I'll eat some crow. He put a bunch of libertarians in. I hope that's true. I'm just not hopeful. There we go. I hope that's true. I'm not hopeful. That's that didn't make any sense. I hope it happens. I don't really believe it will. That's better. There we go. Yes. Chad says, same. I hope Kennedy makes 5%, but I cannot vote for him. Yeah, it's a pain, but I hope he makes 5%. I do. I hope he makes the 5%. I do think 5% is key for many reasons. I keep bringing this up, but I think it's critical. If he gets 5%, others will believe it's possible, right? That's the piece. Others will do it too. He will have broken a hole that others will rush through. I honestly believe in 2016. I did. I was wrong. There are a few times that I'm wrong, but I was wrong. I honestly believed that Gary Johnson would get 5%. I thought he could do it. I thought he'd pull 5% out of this. He got 3, which was still great for us. He got 4.5 million votes. 4.5 million people in 2016 voted for Libertarian. That's amazing. but I wish it was more, and he got 5%, but he didn't. So that sucks. So yes. So, all right. Michael says, dead silence after the big girl interview with Coach Tim. You mean with her dad? She brought her dad in the interview. She did. She was scared. She brought her dad. Yes. But of course not. Now, look, maybe there is the masterstroke I talked about. And all of a sudden, we're going to find out that she's prepped totally and rocks the world in debates. But I do not think so at all. Yes. Yeah. Joel says, Harris Waltz has a fun Where's Waldo type game where we have to search for policies and platforms. Except in Where's Waldo, Waldo actually is there. There's the rub there, Joel. You can search a whole lot and you will eventually find Waldo. You can search all day. You will not find policies and platform. That's the scam. In the Where's Waldo game, at least Waldo is there. This one, nobody's there. There's difference. So I'd rather play Where's Waldo. I could win that game. It's possible. I could actually win that thing. There's no way. There's no way. Ryan, how are you, sir? Thank you, my friend, also for being a member. Trump should appoint Larry as White House press secretary. I would rock that job. You know how much I would love yelling at press people? Oh, God. I would love that job. That's true. I would love that job. If I got offered that job, I would have to, ooh. The problem is, again, Trump will fire me, and he'll fire me in like a month or something, right? Would it be worth it? Damn, Ryan, you make me think. It might be worth the month. It might be worth it to get fired, to do a month of that, and then I get the boot because they love me anymore. You got me. I might take that just so I could, I'm linked to Trump again, which would suck. But yeah, that 1 month of doing that, I'd got to think, right? Like I'd have to figure out where I want to go. That's, I gotta think about that one. So yes. By the way, guys, he's a member, and if you want to become a member, you may, if you want to. If you happen to be watching on YouTube, Larry Sharpe YouTube, you click that join button if you want. Click the button that is join if you like. It is $49 per month. Keeps me going. I do more of this and less of other work. I'm a business and political consultant during the day. I do less of that and do more of this if I can get more people to join. So I appreciate that. If you want your chat to get to the front, you can. Again, if you are watching on Larry Sharpe YouTube, you can click the super chat button, and super chat goes right to the front. I take those right away. Even the crappy ones, I still take them because they're super chatted, so I take them anyway. Great. But either way, if you're watching on YouTube, you can please subscribe. I just looked at my numbers, and only about 20% of the people who watch are subscribed. Let me say that again. Only about 20% of the people who watch are subscribed. That is how low it is. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, please do so. Hit that subscribe button. And if you go, Larry, I never get your notifications. Click the bell that says notification. It's free. You could just do it if you want to. It is literally free. That's not too shabby. I'm not asking for nothing. That's easy day. I could do that. So if you want to do that, please do that. It helps tremendously. Every little bit that you can do does help. And here's a little piece. Hold on. You can click subscribe. See, look, I just gave you something. Click that button, subscribe. You can do that. A notification. Look at that. I just gave you a graphic. Can you imagine? Look how good that is. You just got a graphic on this, man. It's high tech. If you can't do it for that, I don't know what you can do it for. Right there. Come on. Give me a graphic. Anyway, if you can do that, it'd be great. In addition, if you're watching on Twitter, please retweet this. On Facebook, please share this. It doesn't matter. But under any and all circumstances, you must hip check. It's a new one I just made up. Hip check the button that is like. You must use your hip. I'm kidding. You can use your chin, finger. I don't care. Whatever. Be nice. Use some appendage. Be nice. On that like button. Actually, it's your like button. Use whatever appendage you want. It's not mine. You use whatever appendage you want to use on the button that is like, so we can move this forward. I know I yapped away for a bit, but damn it, I need you guys to do that. Please do this. I get shadow banned constantly. The only way I get around this is by you guys doing those things. That's the only way I get around this. All right, let me keep going if I could grab some more of these. All righty. Kim asks, do you think Harris would offer a position in her administration to Liz Cheney? And if so, do you think Liz Cheney would accept it? Okay, second part first, 100% yes. Liz would take it in a heartbeat, 100%. She would take it just to piss off Trump, if nothing else, 100% Liz Cheney would take it. I think Harris would offer. If Harris thought, this thing about Harris versus Waltz. Waltz actually is a believer and cares about the left and left-leaning issues. He might push her away because Liz Cheney is a conservative. That's true. She actually is a conservative. So he might not want her. Harris doesn't have a North Star. She doesn't have any actual my values haven't changed. True. You had none. You still have none. That's an accurate statement. She wasn't lying. My values haven't changed. I didn't have any before. I have none now. It's the same. True. That's not true. Again, Waltz has values. She does not. So would she take it? If she thought it would be a political gain, she would. She wouldn't do it because she thought Liz Cheney is competent. She doesn't care about that. Harris does not care about competency at all. She's never had any success, will not have any success, does not matter. Competency does not matter to Harris at all. Will it move her agenda forward? Harris doesn't care about ideology at all. Doesn't matter. If she thought putting her in her administration would gain some political power, she would do so. Liz Cheney would absolutely take it. Waltz would be pissed off because he does not like that. This is similar to Pence. Mike Pence is also a real conservative. Mike Pence cares about these things. That's why he cares about the Constitution. He cares about these things. Pence actually cares. He's an ideologue. He cares about conservative values. Waltz cares about progressive values. They're opposites in this regard, but they both are believers. And that's the difference. I hope that makes sense. So Brian says, Larry, you keep nixing my bedtime over here in the land of the leprechaun. Oh, are you over there? Kennedy vaguely stated that he would create a unity government with Trump. If our figure out lands have 25%, could he be POTUS? In this case, to be forward, the 25% is not how he becomes POTUS. I did explain it if you were here when I explained how he could become. The only way it could happen, and it is a long shot. I'm being very clear. It is a long shot. The only way it happens is through contingent election. And that means he'd have to win enough states, win two or three states, maybe two, could do two, and no one else gets 270. That is how RFK Jr. could become either president or vice president, either one selected by the House and then by the Senate. That could happen absolutely. Each state gets one vote. It could absolutely happen. It must be from the top three by Constitution. So it'll be Harris and Trump. Odds are Harris will have the popular vote. Odds are. That may not happen, but odds are she'll have popular vote, whether she wins the electoral vote or not. So it'll probably be Harris, Trump, and Kennedy in that order, probably. Those are the odds. Obviously, we don't know, but it could be that. So that's how he could become POTUS or VPOTUS. That would be the only way. Him getting 25% is irrelevant. I mean, if he breaks 5, that's all that matters. 25 and 5 is the same. There's no difference in outcome. If that makes sense. It will feel better if he gets 20%. That'd be amazing. But there'll be no difference in outcome whether he gets 5%, 25%. The question is, does he win at least one state? And to win a state, he'll only need about 35% of the vote. To be clear, he will only need about 35% of the vote to win any given state. That's a lot for him. He's never polled more than 19%. But could it be done? Possible. That is a possible thing. You know, the PACs, he has more than one PAC to support him. They have tens of millions of dollars. He has his own campaign. So is it possible? Yes, it is possible, Brian. Again, I would not count on it, but it absolutely could do it. Yes. Morgan goes down and says, third-party candidates can't win, but they'll cause someone to lose the election. Make it make sense. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. Shelly says, I was in the appeals court with you. I remember, Shelly. Thank you for showing up. Yes. If any of you look at the picture across the top of my Larry Sharpe YouTube page, that picture is of the day that I got my ass kicked in the appeals court in New York State in Albany. That's true. And that's all the people who showed up. So if you look at my YouTube page, you'll see a picture on top of it. It's me in the middle and a bunch of people who were there. Those are all the people who came into court that day. And I thank you all, Shelly. I remember you for coming. Thank you so much. That showed up to try to support me when the judges, and Shelly was there, just made up a rule to stop me from talking. That's record. You can, if you care, if you guys are geeks, check the record. They made up a rule so I couldn't speak. I went pro se with my lawyer, Gary Denoyne, who, by the way, is an amazing lawyer. He's also helping with the Bobby Kennedy team here in New York State. I was with him out pro se, but had a lawyer, of course, because you go pro se without a lawyer, you're a knucklehead. That's a terrible idea. So I could speak because they made up another rule. If I wasn't a lawyer, I couldn't speak. They made that rule up for my first times up there. And I said, wait a minute, I know everything. I can answer all the questions. No, you can't speak. Why? You're not a lawyer. I'm the plaintiff. This is my court. Why can't I? Nope, can't. You're not a lawyer. Okay, rule you made up. So I said, fine, I become pro se. I'm not joking. I became my own lawyer. But of course, I'm not a lawyer, so that's stupid. So I still had Gary by my side, right? So I had a lawyer and me. So I spoke. That was in Albany. They didn't like that at all. They're like, no, you can't speak. They stopped that. That was done. That happened one time. They said no to me again. I went to the appeals court, pro se again. Then they made up a rule so that now I'm pro se, but I still can't talk. Shelley was there when that happened. They were like, you're not talking, Larry. We will just make shit up. Doesn't matter. You're not talking. That's New York State court system. You can't talk. Why? Okay, I'm a citizen. Yes. I'm the plaintiff. Yes. I'm going to talk. No. Why? Because we're judges and we do what we want. Too bad. Shelley was there. All those people on that picture, they were all witness to that. They saw them. Well, we have a rule. I was like, I know that rule. We don't care. You can't talk. Done. That is how they shut me down. So true story. Shelley was there. Thank you for that. So yes, absolutely. All righty. Let's see if I can grab some more of these. Ryan says New York has duopoly activists dressed as judges. Yes, you're right. Why do we have judges? Put in algorithms. We will save so much money on robes. Just use algorithms and we'll be fine. All good. Yes, so much easier. All righty. RFK Jr. give ballot access to LP and Y. He could. There is almost no way the LP and Y or the Green Party ever gets ballot access in New York State ever again, unless RFK Jr.'s lawsuits work. That's how that will work, Joe. If he gets his party with the People Party, if We the People gets 5% and becomes a major party, great. If they don't, what do we do? I don't know. So we have to try to get up 5%. But could it? Yes, that is absolutely possible. 100% possible. But either way, regardless, here's the advantage of a We the People party, to your point, Joe. If you have a We the People party and the platform isn't really established, it can become similar to what Forward was trying to become. And that is simply a vehicle, right? Jerome Bell was on my show a couple of days ago. He was talking about the idea of a third party, just having third party, which it doesn't have anything. It's just a mechanism to move things. It could become that. So libertarians could run on a We the People party on a We the People party. It has no platform. So you could have any independent run. You have Greens could run on it in theory, right? Green could run on it. Libertarian could run on it. Anyone could run on it because it's the only independent party in New York State. So you could do that. Yes, that could happen. It could wind up giving ballot access to libertarians, even though it wouldn't be a libertarian party. So could RFK Jr. give ballot access to LMPY? Only if he was on a libertarian line. And he's not, right? To be forward, he's not a libertarian. Just being forward. I mean, some of you might think he absolutely has some libertarian leanings. 100% that's true. He has some libertarian views. 100% that's true. He's not really libertarian though. So the odds of him being on that ballot line are almost zero. I mean, you know what? It's all right. I'm going to walk down a road. Let me walk down a road. If next week in a federal case, they allow me to be a witness. They may not because they make up rules so I can't speak. Again, openly, they make up rules. If they make a rule so I can't speak, I can't be a whatever because they'll find a way to shut me up. But if I actually speak and I move them, and I can move them enough, it is possible, not promising, but possible. And they go, you know what? All of these ideas are bad and garbage, and we should have let everybody on. And in retrospect, we're going to let on the libertarian, the blah, 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 all that kind of good stuff. They could do that. If they do that, and we get on the ballot, the Libertarian Party, Green Party, whoever, could put RFK Jr. on that line in that specific case through a vacancy committee. They could do it. Again, the odds of this are super slim, Joe. I'm just saying, could it legally happen? Yes. If next week they are blown away by my testimony and go, oh my God, Larry Sharpe's the awesomest guy in the world. We have completely changed our minds on all of this stuff. We're going to trash all the ballot access rules because they're blatantly unconstitutional, which is what I will say. They totally believe me. They don't just let RFK Jr. on. They go trash them all. Libertarians can be on. Greens could be on. We're good. Do your thing. At that point, the Greens Libertarians will have to pick who their person is. They will either just keep, so the Libertarians could just keep Chase Oliver on. They could. Or they can go, no, we're going to use our vacancy committee to fill that role, which would be legal. They could do that. And the vacancy committee could select RFK Jr. in New York State. So could the Greens in theory. I don't think the Greens would ever do that. I don't think the Libertarians would either. But that is a way that could happen in theory. I would not bet on that if I were you, Joe. But yes, that could happen. Guy, am I giving you guys a lot of hypothetical stuff today? So, yes, there we go. Just Me says, so are you saying Bobby definitely appealed the latest New York decision, or you want him to? Both of those two are true. I know the lawyer who's doing it. He will be appealing, and I want him to. So all of those things are true. Yes, Just Me. I do know the lawyer. Yes, they are doing it. Yes. Does that make sense? Yes. How do I know that? The PAC that I consult with is helping to pay the bills. That's how I know. Yes. All right. Ryan goes on. Thank you again for being a member, Ryan. This ballot access Olympic Games that duopoly plays with third parties is proof that it's rigged in their favor. It's also beyond Evo. Correct. Which is why I think the lawyers who do this, while competent lawyers, are terrible people. They are terrible people. Yes. Mike, oh, I didn't know this. Oh, okay. This is interesting. Mike, thank you. DC has never voted Republican since they received electoral votes in 1961. Holy cow. Is that true? God, my chat is smart. You guys are really smart. I like that. I like that. User Hello644 says, we can easily elect RFK Jr. president. We just have to vote. Unite. No red, no blue. Not easy, my friend. Could it happen? Yes. It is not easy at all. They can't even get him on a ballot. It is absolutely not easy. Can it be done? Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Joe says top 2 for Senate VP. Yes. However, one of them will be picked for president. So they will make the rule that'll be top 2 remaining. They will do that. You are correct what it says. They will say top 2 remaining. That's what they will do. That was my point. They will do that. But you're correct. It is top 2. But that'll be left over, right? Because the one will be the president now. So there'll be 2 left over. That's why it'll be top 2. So yes, you're correct. I'm telling you that what it will actually do. Mike says 269, 269. That could happen. 269, 269 could happen. If that happens, contingent election, yes, that could happen. Absolutely. Mike says, I think the top the electoral vote getters because popular vote is just something state legislators created as a matter of choosing electors because popular vote is. I don't think that's true, Mike. You know what? Let me check that. I don't think that's true. I think it's vote getters. I don't think it's electoral vote getters. I don't think that's true. I think it is popular vote. I think that's true because they've always voted for the electors. Again, the specifics here, by the way, is in the past, they voted in almost every other way when we vote for the individual. The specific difference is the Electoral College in the presidency. We don't vote for the president. We vote for electors. So I think it will be what the electors are saying. That's what I think. But you know what? You guys gave me homework. I have homework, Mike. I have a couple guys I can ask about this one. I will check to make sure that's correct. I have that one. And now Liberty Lady gave me homework. Right. You guys give me homework now. Should never done this AMA. You guys give me homework. Shh. Making me doing work now. Okay, I see how you are. All right. Wrote down my homework now. See that? Yes. Morgan says, you mean checks and balances? Yeah. Supposed to be that way. Yes. It is supposed to be that way. Yes. Yes. All right. Let's see if I can grab this one. William says, yes. So you can say it was really written to be a check on power. Yeah. 100%. Wikipedia says top electoral. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Are you doing my homework for me? There we go. I guess I'm wrong on that one. The last time I had this conversation with the lawyer, and this guy was a lawyer who does electoral politics, electoral law. He does election law. He told me that it was popular vote. So I could be wrong on this one. Wikipedia could be wrong too, but yes. Anyway, Ryan says, we made that shit up. It's an excellent merch opportunity. Maybe that should be on a t-shirt. We made that shit up. We did. Yes, absolutely. Lynn says, from what I've gathered on X, there's a large team of Trump and RFK supporters throughout California, campaigning to turn California purple, take California out of the electoral count. I say good luck to them. I think if you could do that, it's a great idea. And let me explain why. Do I believe you can turn California purple? No, I don't. I think it's virtually an impossible task. California is deep blue, just like New York is. I think it's impossible to turn New York State purple. I don't think it can happen, particularly if he's not in the ballot, obviously, right? I don't think, but it is good either way because there's going to be a whole lot of votes out of California. California's got to have, 12, 14 million votes? More, maybe? I don't know how many. I mean, tons of voters. So trying to get them to the top is going to get tons of votes for the 5% either way. We need 8 million votes total. If you can get 3 million out of California, even if he doesn't turn it purple, what a home run that is. So I think the attempt is a wonderful attempt, whether it works or not. And if I'm wrong and you can turn it purple, oh my God, what a home run that is. You turn California purple and Bobby wins California, no way Harris wins. No way she wins. That's number one. So that the people who like Trump are happy about that because they know taking California away from Harris means Harris cannot win. No way. No matter how many swing states she wins, she's done. So, of course, Trump supporters want that. But RFK supporters now, he gets 53 electoral votes. Holy cow. Oh, my God. Holy cow. So I think it's a great idea. I don't think it will work, but good either way. So let me go back to the electoral vote piece. Assuming that Yarn EVK, or is it Yarnev K? Yarnev K? Yarnev K? However you say that. I'm going to go Yarnev K is correct. Then there wouldn't be enough people for the VP because there's no way that Trump would be Harris's VP or Harris would be Trump's VP. It would never happen. That means the Senate would have to find its own rules. What would they do? They would just make up rules. I'm not joking. The Senate would just go, what should we do? They would make up rules. They would select somebody, find an answer, do something. The Senate would just make up rules. I don't doubt that there may be a push politically, popular vote, to put RFK Jr. in the VP slot, or the actual VP that the person wanted. So I think it'll still be one of the 6, if that makes any sense, or 5. Either way, that'd be my gut. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I would assume. I assume that if that's true, and it's only electoral votes, and if Bobby doesn't get any electoral votes, if Trump wins the presidency in that regard, if he does, then that was this is my point though. Okay, hold on. Unless it's 269, in that case, Bobby Kennedy will have won with no states, in which case they would have to pick somebody in the Senate. But my point is, I don't see it going 269. I think Bobby Kennedy has to win at least one state or one electoral vote somewhere. I think he has to. He's got to win, I don't know, D.C. He's got to win, Nebraska's one electoral vote in Omaha. He's got to win something. I don't know how it works. I don't see it. It's just my view. Got to win Utah, whatever. If he does win one of those states, then he will have electoral votes and problem solved. But if he doesn't, if it actually is 269, and it's not popular vote, and I'm wrong, it's just EV, as you say, then they're going to have to find some other answer. So my assumption is, say, if Trump gets it, right, if he does, he will have 26 states, then the Senate will figure out, okay, we're putting Vance in. They'll just do it. They'll give it to Vance. They'll just do that. They'll make up rules and give it to Vance because there'll be no one else for the Constitution to pick because Harris will not accept it. So now there's no one who has electoral votes. What are we going to do? I think they'll just put Vance in, or they put RFK Jr. in. They'll put somebody who's running. I don't think they'll just grab a random senator. Could they, in theory, grab a random senator? They could. I mean, they're the Senate. They could go, Rand Paul is your VP. They could do something like that. But I don't see it happening. So I hope that answers that question. So, yeah. All right. William says, what if the Senate is still 50-50? Does Harris? No. Remember, when it comes to the Senate, same thing. It's 26 votes. So it would matter. If you don't have to, and something else, the Constitution states that they can't do anything else until they do this. If you remember when they had to pick the Republican leader of the House, how long it took. With 13 votes, was it? 13 votes? They just kept voting. You might go, why did keep voting? Just forget it. Go do something else. You can't. You can't, according to the rules they made up. This must be done. You vote until it's done, or you don't do anything else. You cannot move forward. The Constitution says they cannot move forward. The Senate cannot do anything else until it picks the VP. The Congress cannot do anything else until it picks the president. After the Congress picks the president, it can go do whatever else it wants to do. The Senate is stuck, can do nothing until it picks the VP. And it must pick the VP by 26 states. The current VP does not get to vote because he or she is not a state. In this specific case, only states can vote. So the VP would not have a vote because he or she is not a state. You'd have to get 26 votes. I hope that was clear. Yes, I've definitely gone down some rabbit holes. Raza says, I love you walking down a rabbit hole to the end with us. Larry, thank you so much. I do try. Yes, I do try. Mike says, if a faithless elector votes for Bobby as the vice president, he can get chosen in the Senate. One would assume you could do that if there was a faithless elector vote. Yeah, you assume that because he'd still get an electoral vote. Yes, that would still count. I think you're right. He'd get an electoral vote. He could be selected, right? If he got an electoral vote. Yes. So yes. All righty. Diotheus says, how do I send a comment to Larry? You just did. Is it Diotheus? Diotheus. I just did. Yes. All righty. Let's see here if I can keep going down this road. Devon says, wow, so much more excitement ahead of us. Thanks for education. Mainstream is not talking about this. They don't. That's why I'm here. They don't talk about this at all. No. Absolutely. Yes. Guillermo says, don't want to sound like a conspiracy nut, but Kennedy Jr. and Trump were talked about a lot. Could you imagine if it came to light? I don't know what that means. There must be somebody else. I guess maybe somebody else. Maybe that's not for me. There we go. Yes. Yes. Jess says, Diotheus right here. He grabs when he can. The other place grabs. I try to get. The problem is they come by fast, and there's so many of them I can't grab them all. The ones that pop up is why I always say if you really have something crazy you want to say and you want to get it out there, super chats come right to the front. They pop up at me right away. They go boom right there. So if you do want to do a super chat, you can if you want to. If you're watching on Larry Sharpe YouTube, you can. No soundbox allowed. Sorry. Mike says, Larry, you have deep knowledge of inside baseball and operation of government. How do you gain such knowledge, like about president lectures? How can I learn since schools don't teach it? This is a very important question. I really wish I had a better answer for you. I really do. The answer I have for you is I've gotten my ass kicked. I've been through this. I was trying to make things happen since 2016. I've been doing this for 8 years. And over the 8 years I've been doing it, I've learned by getting my butt kicked, by them coming up with new rules, figuring things out. So I can do homework. I consult with attorneys in general. That's what my day job. I consult. I do jury consulting, defense attorney consulting. I will help people put together an opening, closing statement for criminal trials. That's what I do for a living, right? That's the kind of consulting I do: legal, business, political consulting. So I work with a lot of lawyers. So I ask them questions. So I've learned that way. How can others do it? Run for office or be part of a campaign. Most importantly, be part of an independent party or third-party campaign. If you lean left, do a Green Party one, right? If you lean right, maybe do another one. Pick whatever you want, right? Do a conservative party or something like that. Or do a independent party. I mean, I hope you lean libertarian. Please be libertarian party, but whatever. You join a party, join a campaign, not a party. Join a campaign, and you'll see how all this works. That's how I learned all this stuff, by getting my butt kicked. By thinking, I could just do well because I'm smart or I have a good idea. No. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Nancy says, Larry, dare to say Kamala becomes president again. I'm going to wash him out with soap. I'm just saying what could happen, Nancy. Don't shoot the messenger here. I'm just saying it. Yes, absolutely. All right. See if I can grab this here real fast. All righty. Azrael says, in California and the West states, we have formed a grassroots organization to take the state back from the Democrats. Vote for Bobby in Cali is a vote for Trump. Hold on. In California and West states, we have formed the grassroots organization to take the state back from Democrats. Vote for Bobby in Cali. What, Azrael, you are living in a fantasy world, my friend. And I know lots of people like you. I do. They're in New York too. I hear it all the time. I want to be very clear for everyone watching. Anyone who tells you Republicans are going to win California or Republicans are going to win New York is either delusional, which Azrael may be, it's okay, he may be, it's fine, or lying. One of the two. There is absolute, Azrael, I will bet you any amount of money you want. Name the amount. I'll do it publicly. I'll do it in writing. There is no chance. Zero. There is more chance of Bobby Kennedy Jr. becoming president of the United States than there is of any Republican winning a statewide election in New York State or California this year. I will bet you you name the amount. I'll do it publicly in writing. I don't care. $10, $10,000. You pick. Yes. Never going to happen in a bazillion years. Here's the reason why. People are going to tell me, but Larry, people aren't happy. You're right. Democrats are destroying the state. You're right. Democrats suck. In your state, they're crushing it. You're right. I live in New York, brother. I'm with you. You're correct. That is an accurate statement. And the people who would be voting the way you want have been packing up and leaving your state in droves. More your state than mine. I lost about 300,000. You lost 500,000. Yes, you know that. They're packing up and leaving. The people who would be voting red now live in Texas, Idaho, Utah. You know what I'm talking about. All your people went to Idaho, Utah, and Texas. All my people went to Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee a little bit. You got some Tennessee people too. That's what happened. They're not there anymore, man. Just not. Lost cause. Lost cause. Don't mean to be mean, just being forward. A vote for Bobby in California is a vote for Bobby. If Trump becomes president again, and he might, I'm not saying he's not going to win this thing. He could win this thing, but he will win it the same way he won it last time, without New York and without California. When he was president last time, he did not win California, and he did not win New York. And in 2020, he did not win California. He did not win New York. In 2024, he will not win California. He will not win New York. Do not believe the lies the Republican Party will tell you. There's a reason, I brought this up earlier, there's a reason why the Republican Party says what they say. They want to raise money for their state party. I understand why they do it. Because why the hell would you give money to a state party when you know you can't win anything statewide? Why would you? Because I'm going to lie to you and say, this is the year, it's grassroots, it's going to work. It's not going to work. It's a ruse for them to give you money. Our last governor race, 2022, the one that I got sued off the ballot. The guy who ran it as a Republican was a guy named Lee Zeldin. He told everybody, gonna win. In fact, the guy who ran our party back then was a guy named Nick Langworthy. He ran New York State Republican GOP. He told the whole state, the whole country, we're gonna beat Cuomo, because Cuomo was the governor then, before Hochul took over, before Cuomo left. He told everybody, oh, we're gonna win, we're gonna beat Cuomo, raised tons of money. What did he do? He stabbed them all in the back. I'm not joking, this is public knowledge. Decided to run for Congress all of a sudden, took that money that he was going to beat Cuomo with. Now he ran for Congress in Western New York when he redistricted, backstabbed the guy who I happen to know, a guy named Palladino, backstabbed him, took that seat, and now he's a congressman. Langworth's a congressman now. Blatant grift. Lee Zeldin. I'm going to win. No, he's not. Lee Zeldin's a mediocre to bad lawyer. And you can get mad at me if you want to. I don't care. He is. It was out in Long Island. Thought he was going to lose his seat because of redistricting, and he was a crappy congressman. And so he's like, I'm going to lose my seat because they're going to redistrict me out, and I'm a crappy congressman, and I'm a bad lawyer. Now what am I going to do? I don't know. Langworthy said, hey, why don't you grift with me? You'll raise a bunch of money. You'll lose, but you'll have tons of money. You'll put into a PAC, and you'll pay yourself a salary for the next 5 years. Zeldin was like, that's a great idea. I'll do that. So Zeldin basically blows his seat off. He didn't show up anyway. He was a bad congressman. Goes and runs for governor. Lies to the entire New York State, says, I'm going to win. And I told everybody, I'm on record. I have receipts, Azrael. I'm on record. I publicly said he will lose by 5 to 7 points. I know my state. I cover it every single year. I've been covering it for 7 years. I know my state very well. It's about New York State. I'm not wrong about New York State. I said 5 to 7 points. He lost by 6. I predicted exactly. Never going to win. He knew it too. He raised like $11 or $13 million, something like that. Took half of that, spent on his campaign. And I told everybody, again, I'm on record. I have receipts for this, Azrael. I said before the election, I said 3 months after the election's over, he'll be running a PAC with the money he raised, and he'll be paying himself a salary. He's going to buy himself a job off your back of your Republican voters. And he did. He's now running a PAC. He took that money and put it into a PAC. That's legal. You can do it. When you raise a bunch of money, you can keep it. I'm not joking. You raise the money, you lose, you keep it. Whatever's left over, you keep. So they keep the money. What do you do with it? As long as you do it some way. And this, I'm gonna give you some inside baseball again on this one. This is how people get their money back. All right, I'm a congressman. I run for 6 years. I raised tons of money. I raised $10 million, $15 million, but I keep getting reelected, so I don't need to spend it. So now I'm done. And I have $10 million left in my account that I raised all this time. And I'm out. I lost my seat. I retired. I'm doing $10 million. I can't give it to myself. It's against the law. But what I could do is I can give it to another nonprofit or political entity. Awesome. So, Azrael, you start a special think tank called California Grassroots America New York Joint PAC. Oh, that sounds amazing. I would like to donate my $10 million to your PAC. You go, great, Larry. By the way, I have a job. You do? Yes. You can be executive director of my PAC. What's that pay? It pays $500,000 a year. It does. I'll take a 5 or 6 year, 10-year contract. Done. 10-year contract's $5 million. I gave you 10. You get to keep $5 million. I get paid $500,000 for 10 years. That happens all the time. And that's utterly legal. Happens all the time. Totally legal. Happens all the time. That's literally what Lee Zeldin did. Did that. So they're trying to fool you, Azrael, to give a bunch of money to the state party for nothing. Because they know what the outcome is if they don't do that. It's where I am right now in Queens. Again, I'm giving you actual examples of this actually happening. This happens all the time. In Queens right now, it's so bad. No one gives to these local parties anymore. If you're a Republican, why would you? It's Queens, New York. Where I live, the local people, I think I tell you a story before, at the state level, haven't run a candidate in 10 years. If you call the GOP headquarters where I am, it's like a dry cleaner. It's like a deli or something. Okay, so they go, yeah, it's Joey, how you doing? It's your GOP headquarters, and it's also pizzeria. What do you want? That's literally what it is. Doesn't exist. They don't want that to become the California headquarters for a Republican Party. So they lie to you and say, this is the year, we can do it. People give money, they still grift, they have jobs, all good. That's a common thing. But the next thing they're doing, which you're noticing, is they're doing it under the idea that they care, is they'll do publicly funded, I'm not joking, publicly funded elections. Sounds amazing. We're going to keep money out of politics, publicly funded. Here's how it actually works. And again, I have examples of this, guys. I'm not just making this stuff up. What happens is now the taxpayers now pay for the consultants. Publicly funded elections is a jobs program for me. Yes. It's a jobs program for me. Isn't that great? Your tax is going to pay me to be a consultant. Look how good that is. Yeah, that is why you see me fight the duopoly so much. We have to have a third party here. Third party breaks all of this. It does. Third party shows that we don't believe this stuff, that we can go someplace else, that there is some hope, which is why I fight so much. About a year ago, no, maybe several months ago, I was on a show and one guy said, you care about third party more than you care about libertarians? I said, yes. Like, what? Yes. I said, if there was 3 people on the ballot, Democrat, Republican, and literally Cornel West, I would vote Cornel West. Him and I know the man. I like him. I do like him. His speaking ability blows people away. I've moderated debates with him on it. I've been on stage with him at Freedom Fest this year. His speaking ability is awesome. His policies are not mine at all. His policies are not my policies at all. And I would still vote for him. Why? Because if he breaks a hole, other people go through. That's how we make impact. It's why I'm so passionate about third parties. It's why I am, because the only way you break this stuff is when there's a third party and you don't just get afraid of voting for the lesser of two evils. That is how you break it. This is why we have to make it, and we can. And we can. The 5% number makes this all become real. And now the money that's coming in goes to third parties too. That's what they don't want. That's why they sued me off the ballot in 2022, because New York State now has matching funds. New York State now has publicly funded elections. They won't Larry Sharpe getting that money. I get that money, I'm going to win an election. I get that money, I'm the next governor, I'm the next mayor, I'm the next whatever. You give me $6-8 million to run a campaign, I'm winning that campaign. You're not going to beat me. And they know that. Well, what about the rest? They don't mind if I'm a consultant. They're happy if I'm a consultant. Good. They'll hire me themselves. Republicans reach out to me like every other week. They want me on their teams all the time. They're happy I'm as a consultant. They just want me running. That's why they stop it. But it can work. So I hope that's clear. I know I went through a lot. Actually, I'm not trying to beat you up, brother. I'm not. I know lots of people who think exactly the same way you do. I see it all the time. I know lots of people think the same way. I'm trying to get you out of that. It's not the idea. It just isn't. Kim says, love the info on contingent election. Yes, that's, and again, it's a 12th Amendment. If you want to check it out, you can. That's what it is. And it was used twice before, by the way. Thomas Jefferson was elected by the 12th Amendment, and so was John Quincy Adams. They were both elected by the 12th Amendment. So it does do work. Absolutely. Yes. Kay says, do you think it's possible Kennedy and Trump could have made a deal to endorse each other, Trump for Kennedy 28? I mean, maybe, but what about Vance? One would assume that Vance would be the one. I mean, maybe, but I don't know why. I don't even know if Kennedy's going to run in 2020. I don't know. The advantage he has is if he can, then that puts fear into the Republicans to actually do the things they say they're going to do. Otherwise, why would they? You might go, well, they said so. So politics is the mafia. It's the mob. If you don't have leverage, who's going to enforce your contracts? Nobody. They can promise whatever they want. Well, libertarians know this very well. People promise all types of things and then don't do it. And then what's the consequence? Nothing. That's how it works. So yes. Dio Theus says, Larry, do you think RFK and Trump will consider election reform after what RFK experienced? I don't know if they or you ever reach out to each other. I think there is a chance. Why do I say that? Trump's not running again. And so I don't think he cares. He would happily do it or not. I think if he could have a legacy, my gut says, and I don't know this to be true, but my gut says, again, I don't know Trump, right? I've met RFK far more than I've met Trump. I met Trump one time like 30 years ago when he was in New York. He wasn't even running for office. So, and he would never remember me. I mean, I was with a line of lots of people. So that's the best I've ever met Trump. I don't know the guy at all. I met him years ago. He'd never remembered me. It was like hey, how you doing? And walk by like that. So I don't know him. I've met Bobby Kennedy more than once. I know him a little bit. I'm not his bestie at all, but I know him a little bit. I think he would be happy to actually have election reform. I know Nicole Shanahan would happily push for election reform. I think Trump will be open to it because it doesn't really affect him. And if that would be a better legacy for him, I think he'd be happy with it. So that is my view. I don't think they'd fight it at all. So yes. All righty. Azriel goes on to say, do you think we can make it happen? Currently, California numbers 46% Democrats, but the independents together with Trump outnumber Democrats. Yes, but not going to happen. California isn't as bad as New York. New York is worse than California. Independents and Republicans combined do not outgun Democrats. Democrats outgun both, which I'll say New York is a lost cause when it comes to that. Democrats in New York absolutely outgun combined Republicans and independents. There's about 2.5 million Republicans in New York State, if my numbers are about right. About 3.5 million independents, give or take, if I'm about right. And about 6.5 million or 7 million Democrats. So registered, that is. Registered, obviously. Far more. I don't think so at all. No chance, man. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I can't imagine it. Yes. Yes. Let's see here. Shelley says, AOC can't walk down Manhattan Street without being heckled. I can't imagine what they would do to Harris. Yeah, she just won't show. She'll just show up with in her cool black car and get shuffled in and out, and that's it. So yes. The Orthodox Moore says, at Larry Sharpe with the RFK Jr. pulling off Maine, should Chase focus on the Stop 270 strategy there? Yes. For those of you who say, Larry, why were you so behind Lars Mapstead? There were many reasons why. But the number one reason why is he wanted a 270 strategy. He already had a ground team in Maine to do it. Every other candidate who was running, every other one said, that's a dumb idea, Larry. I'm not joking. I went to every other candidate running, every one of them. No, we got to do 50 states. What about ballot access? And had every excuse. All utter garbage. Garbage. We've been trying as libertarians, 50 state running, whatever, for 50 years and coming up with garbage. It doesn't work. It never worked. It hasn't worked for 50 years, right? 52 years now, it hasn't worked. But this time, no, it doesn't work. How do I know that? Because now that's what we're talking about, is what I was talking about is the 270 and the contingent election. Who do you think started that shit? That was me. I'm not joking when I say that. That was me talking about this constantly, bugging people from 2016 to 2020. Lars Mapstead, thank you, Lars, picked it up and said, oh, that's Larry, it's brilliant. I'm going to do that. I said, I'm on your team. Done. You can do that? I'm on your team. Done. And we started pushing Stop 270 because Lars realized it was the only way of doing things. The idea of contingent election was the way. Everyone else said, no, nope, you're wrong. Nope, you're wrong. Too bad. Too bad. Look, here is the glory of this. The glory is now people know about it. And you, Orthodox Moore, well done. You have said what I hope Chase will figure out. Because Chase does not have much money. Not mad at him, just the way it is. Take that, Chase, if you or your team are happen to be watching, I hope you are, take the money you have, abandon every other place, follow what the Orthodox Moore is saying, and push it into one of two places. Push it into Omaha, Nebraska, which also does the same thing of getting to one vote, or push it into Southern Maine. You have those two. Take every dollar, all your time, you and Mike Tremont, who also is a friend of mine. I like Mike. We're friends. I like him a lot. Take those two guys and every dollar you have and do what the Orthodox Moore is telling you right now. Go to Maine or go to Nebraska, Omaha, only Omaha. That's another separate district of how they break up those two states break up the electoral votes. For those who don't know, every other state except for those two states, it's winner take all. If you win the state, you get all electoral votes. You get all of them. But if you don't do that, those only two in Maine and Nebraska, don't do that. You can get individual votes. And let me be very clear. This is something that we were talking about. This is the only way Chase actually has a chance of being president. Only way. Why? Because what happens if Bobby Kennedy does not win any states or any electoral votes? But Chase does. He'll be one of the top three. Electorally. He will have a chance of being president. Why do you think I've been pushing this idea for libertarians for the last 8 years? It is the only way. But Chase won't do this. Why? His team thinks it's a dumb idea. How do I know? I've asked him more than once. Maybe he'll listen to you, Orthodox Moore. Why don't you call him up? He won't listen to me. Maybe he'll listen to you. I hope he will. If your team's watching, Chase, please do that. Take all your money and all your time. Stop this crossing the country. Nobody cares. No one's paying attention. You're going to wind up coming in fifth. It's not going to work. I told you guys all this back in the convention in May. You didn't want to listen to me. Listen to him instead. Orthodox Moore, he's smarter than me. Listen to him. Go to Maine. Go to Nebraska. Win your electoral vote. Come in third. Let it become 268 to 269 with you, Chase, having won, and Chase becomes the vice president of the President of the United States. It is the only way. Has always been the only way. I hope they listen. Thank you for that, my brother. I do appreciate it. That's amazing. I do like that. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. So many of these things. I do appreciate this. All righty. Andrew says, is voting contributing to the system? Just asking for a friend. Yes. There is a theory here, and I'm going to give you my opinion on this. Some people will say I'm wrong or right, whatever. I'm telling you what I think. I'll give you my opinion on this. There are people who say, Larry, I don't want to vote because voting is by default, because of our system, violence. And their logic is, if I vote, whoever I vote for or not, I'm legitimizing when the government attacks people, takes their money, bombs people overseas, whatever. I get that logic. I do. And you might go, well, that violence is wrong. But here is what I would say in return. Is violence okay when someone is, committing violence upon you? Andrew, right? If I'm trying to beat you up, Andrew, and you beat me up in return, I deserve the beatdown I got. I'm trying to beat you up. You beat me up, I deserve the beatdown. Now I'm walking around and you beat me up, well, then I don't deserve that beatdown. But if I'm trying to beat you up and you beat me up, oh, well, I shouldn't have tried to beat you up then, right? That's my fault. I shouldn't have done that. The state is trying to use violence against us. So if you see voting as supporting violence or being violent, isn't it justified? It's putting violence on you or on others you may care about overseas or whatever is your issue. So while I get that logic, I think it also makes sense to vote to change, to shift. But I'll now be practical. That was philosophical. Let me be practical. If we don't fix this in the ballot box, there's the ammunition box, and that's the only other option. Andrew, I don't like that second option at all. I don't want that option at all. I think violence is not the way. Now, will it happen? I can't stop it, but can I do my best to stop it? Yes. The more we do this, the higher chance we have to avoid violence. I would really like to avoid violence. That is my view. So I went from philosophical to practical. You may disagree. Your friend may disagree, but I hope you understand why I said what I said. So yes. All righty. Grab down this road here. Frank asks, is there any indication that the leaders of the GOP are not on board with not only having two high-profile Dems stumbling for Trump, as well as the transition team? General rule when it comes to the elites of the GOP, and I'm not sure which leaders you mean, but Frank, the elites of the GOP still hate Trump. The average Republican actually really loves Trump. The average Republican. Some Republicans don't like Trump, obviously, but the average Republican really likes Trump. Many of the newer up-and-coming Republicans really like Trump. Many of them do. Not all, but many of them do. But the elites of the Republican Party, they still hate him. They want to go back to when it was Bush versus Clinton. They thought that was the good old days. I'm not joking. They think that's the good old days. They hate Trump. So they don't want it. Those people, whatever gets rid of Trump is the answer. They would rather Trump lose this. I'm not joking. They're Republicans, but the old school elites would rather have Trump lose. They want whatever would make him lose. If that means Democrats on board, good. Not on board, good. They don't care. They want Trump out. They will say nothing, right? Which is meant to say nothing, or they're becoming like, what are those two groups that they've been using? No Labels is basically a bunch of never Trumper Republicans. Those groups, they do stuff like that. They'll do that kind of thing. So I hope that answers your question. That's what they're talking about. So yes. All right. Nancy says, I've come across several people who don't want Harris, but freak out over Trump. They watch too much ABC News. Yeah, absolutely. Ryan says, Lars Mapp said not getting the LP nomination still depresses me. It still triggers me. You just saw it happen. I just got triggered. It still triggers me. And the reason I say this is I've been talking about this for years. And Libertarian Party wanted to do a culture war. And it fought it. And if you're Chase, you won. If you're Angela, I guess I don't know who won. Somebody won. Maybe nobody won. I don't care. I think we lost. Mapstead right now would have raised over $10 million already. And as Bobby Kennedy began to fade, he would have picked up all of that momentum. And he would have already have spent 3 months in Maine and Nebraska. And the Orthodox Moor would have been like, I have nothing to say because Lars Mapstead is doing what I would like him to do. We would already be doing Stop 270 in Nebraska and in Maine, and maybe even in Utah by now. We might have already been doing Utah. So we might have had Utah, Maine, that could be 6 electoral votes, giving Lars Mapstead an actual chance to be president of the United States. Yes. So you're not the only one, my friend. You're not the only one. Yes. All right. Chris says, I was talking to my Democrat mother-in-law. She's starting to figure out the process to get on the ballot. Hold on. She's starting to figure out the process to get on the ballot a DM. I'm not sure about that, but I'm glad she's talking ballot access, and that was my point, right? Yes, that is a big deal. Yes. Shelley says, gotta say, 4 years ago in California, your life was in your hands, mentioning Trump. Now a lot of people are changing their minds and refusing to vote. Yes, but that's it, refusing to vote. Yes, refusing to vote. Yes, that's not all of a sudden making that. Yes. Kay says, not all insurances, some only pay part of it. IFE is expensive. Yeah. Shelley goes on to also, IFE is extremely expensive, which is why insurance companies don't want to pay for it. Yeah. Nancy says, forced IFE, try having sex, is more fun. I would agree it is more fun, but not all women, you can have lots of sexes. I mean, you can keep trying, I guess. But anyway, my point is yes. Paul says, IFE is expensive, really expensive. Yeah, I guess my point here is, it should be transparent. And I think the one good piece about this, I think, is people are now talking about IVF and something else. People are talking about health in general, thanks to Bobby Kennedy Jr. Women's health obviously included in that. So healthier women obviously is going to be better off for having children, living long lives, being better moms, right? Being better partners, of course, right? Health is going to help you to do all those things better. So that's one good thing. The second thing is people are really talking about this idea. So I think insurance companies are going to have to make a decision and be very proactive and be very transparent about this. So yes, I'm glad you bring it up. I'm glad we're talking about it. It's great. So yes. Braden says, just on RFK won't be on the ballot in Kentucky. Even Kanye West was on the ballot there in 2020. What went wrong here? Yeah, Democrats decided they didn't want them. So get rid of them. Yes. I mean, that's really the issue. 100%. It is terrible how hard they've been fighting this. It is horrible. Yes. So I agree completely. All righty. Let's see here. Mike says, guarantee you're in trouble since you call your daughters old. You're assuming they actually watch my show. You're assuming something. They don't watch my show. They don't watch my show. They don't care. I can call my daughters whatever I want. They don't care. And compared to the babies they were, I am the typical father in this regard. I want two things that are impossible. I want my daughters to go off and be amazing, awesome adults. And at the exact same time, I want them to stay 3 years old forever and never leave me. I would like both of those things. And that makes no sense. And is utterly illogical. And I can never have it. And doesn't stop me from absolutely wanting it. As I'm sure many parents think exactly the same way of that. Exactly the same way. Yes. So, all righty. Let's see. Paula says, Bill O'Reilly called Trump libertarian. Do you think that it's hopeful that Trump is sucking up to us? What it means is, I'm going to give, again, Angela McCardle some credit. Some of you don't like Angela, but I always try to give credit where credit is due. Angela said that libertarians very likely will be the ones who decide this election. I think she's right. Libertarians are about 3% of the population, give or take. About that, give or take, about 3% of the population. 3% could easily make this work. So yes, absolutely. Ryan, thank you for this, the $2 super chat. IVF triggered the Daily Wire and the far right. Yes, I mean, it just seems nuts. I don't know why, I don't mean to be cruel on this at all. I'm not, but IVF can make a lot of people happy. We shouldn't look at this like a bad, I mean, I'm sure there are other ways too, and this isn't the only way to have a child you could adopt, but we have spent so much time making adoption virtually impossible, making surrogacy basically illegal, so people's only chance is just IVF. There are lots of people who would adopt if it wasn't so damn hard, or who would use surrogacy if it wasn't so damn hard, in certain cases illegal in certain states. So yeah, I think we should be letting women have the most options possible for them to have children. That just makes sense to me, right? As a society, whether that means we have to make it to where we get our government noses out of IVF so that it can be cheaper, or whether we have to be transparent with our insurance companies to make sure it happens. But we should kind of be letting women have most options possible. We should also make surrogacy completely legal. It isn't in many states. We should allow adoption to be way easier. Let women who want to have, there's a chunk of women, the last data I saw, about 10% of women don't want kids, don't want nothing to do with it, don't want them, don't care. Okay, that 10%, good for you. Enjoy your life. You do you, no worries, totally libertarian, enjoy. But about 90% of women do want the option to have children. Of that 90%, about 20% of those struggle to have children, give or take in that area. But that's the last data I saw. It's a couple years back. I don't know if it's still true, but it's in that area. Struggle to have children in some way, shape, or form. Allow those 20% to have the best chance of having kids, whatever is right for them. They want to adopt, surrogacy, IVF. The other one, IVU was the other one. Whatever the thing is. I was very blessed. My wife and I tried natural kids right off the bat. Very lucky, very blessed. Not everyone gets that. If you get that, good for you. You don't get that? I think this shouldn't trigger anybody. This should be something that our culture says is a good idea. Let women have the best chances for those who want. Again, you don't want kids, no worries. That 10%, enjoy your life. For those who want it, you should give them the best chances possible. That's all. 99, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate the super chat. I'm late. Thanks so much for answering my question about New York ballot access and appeals. I'm glad you're a witness. Great new podcast from Bobby Krell. Bobby Curious. Please check it out and share. There we go. Bobby Curious from Bobby. Is it Krell? Kroel. Kroll? Maybe Kroll. Generally speaking, when you have an O and an E like that with a K, it is a Scandinavian name with an umlaut, right? If you don't know, you might know this. The O and the umlaut in English is often written, you put an E at the end to represent the umlaut. If your name is Bjorn, that's B-J-O-R-N, but Björn, B-O-E-R-N, because it's umlaut, the that would be, I guess, Robbie Krell. I guess. Could be German. Germans have umlauts also. Scandinavians, Germanic names, umlauts. Maybe. See, I have the flag next to me. See, I know these things. I always try to impress you with my insanely silly knowledge that whatever. Yes. So, yes. Ryan says, Ben Shapiro, libertarian. I know. I've heard people say that. That's why I laughed at that. I know. He is a conservative, and good for him. I'm not mad at him for that. But he's not libertarian. He is a conservative. That's what he is. So, yes, just that. Brian says, IVF cost my cousin $70,000. Holy cow. Wow. 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 Okay. That was as far as it can go, and it failed. Oh, my God. Imagine dropping. This is my point, right? You're a couple trying to have kids. Doesn't work. Adoption seems like a far-fetched chance. Surrogacy is illegal in your state. You want to have a kid just between you and your spouse. So you go to IVF. You drop 70 freaking grand. That's probably the cost of a couple years, I assume, right? It's probably not 1 year, probably a couple years trying it. So you try it for a couple years, 70 grand, and it fails. And you run out of money. And now you're 70 grand in debt. And it didn't even work. How heartbroken are you? You know, Brian, that could ruin a marriage. I'm not joking. Because now each person is feeling like the world's going to end. Each person is feeling like they're not good enough. Each person is feeling mad. And you're in debt. Now you got money problems. Oh, my God. Each one's pissed off at the other for whatever reason. The world's against them. Wow. That could ruin your marriage. So now you got $70,000 in debt. You didn't get your kid. And you're probably on the brink of divorce on top of it. Wow. Terrible, terrible story. Yes. Liberty lady says, adoption should be way easier, but too much government oversight. Yes, we are actually going to other countries to get babies because it's easier to get them in other countries. Why? Why? It just drives me crazy, right? Cases, adoption is expensive. Yes, absolutely. And can take years. Why? This is insanely stupid. Yes, it's insanely stupid. Yes, I completely agree. It is horrible. Sarah goes on to say, so many fertility issues are linked to chronic disease. Thank you. That is my point. Yes, you got it right. Chronic disease, environmental toxins like endocrine disruptors, just what Bobby talks about. Yes. And here again is the glory, right? Obviously, I hope we get 5%. I've been saying it like this on tomorrow. I push it. I think it's the right answer. But whether we do or not, the fact that Bobby Kennedy Jr. is talking about these issues is important. It is critically important. Other people were not talking about this, right? Now, does Trump actually care? To be fair, as I mentioned, I don't know him. I don't know. But here is what I do think. I think there is a chance that he actually does. Again, don't know. No inside information. Why would I say that not knowing that? Because Trump had a near-death experience. That's why. And the timing. Trump had a near-death experience. And then 2 days after that, he's calling up Bobby Kennedy Jr. We saw the leaked video. He literally called Bobby Kennedy Jr. within 2 days, called him twice within 2 days, talking about legacy, what's the next step, blah, blah, blah. It's possible that he really had a change of heart and he's really about this. It is possible. Again, don't know. No idea. All I'm saying is it's actually possible. It's possible because of someone having a near-death experience can actually change that. So, yes. 1819 Jackie says, maybe if you can't have kids in the moment, you probably shouldn't. Maybe. I don't know that, right? I mean, there are people who shouldn't have kids who do, and people who do who shouldn't. But I don't think that should matter, right? If you feel like you're in a spot to have children and our society can give you the best chance of doing it, why wouldn't we want that? Right? I mean, there's tons of people who have kids who probably shouldn't, and people who should have kids who don't. I don't know about that issue. And then worse, 1819, who decides? I decide. You decide. No. The individual couple, they should decide if they're ready or they're not ready. And sometimes they're going to be wrong because people are wrong sometimes. But whether they're wrong or not, I should be deciding that regardless. Now, if somebody wants my opinion, clearly I will yap for hours on end and give them my opinion. And if they want to listen to my opinion, I hope they will, but they're not required to. Yours either, to be forward, right? I mean, people should be able to choose when and how they want to have children to the best of their ability. I'm saying that as a society, not necessarily as a mandate for an insurance company, but as a society, we should be about giving women, couples, I shouldn't say women, but couples in general, whatever, women too, but just couples in general, people, how about that? People the best chance of having children in the best ways they possibly can. Just let them, right? Why in the world would I want some women to feel like they're trapped? How is that going to be good for any of us? Right? That's not, do I need more pissed off people on the planet? No. It's fine. I don't need any more. We have enough. We're good. We're over our quota. We don't require any more. So yes. The anti-corporatist, how are you, sir? Thank you for being a member, by the way. I appreciate that. Larry, you just discovered that you're a dad to daughters. I did? No. I've been a dad to daughters for 20 years now. My oldest is 20. My youngest is 14. And I always tease that I say, well, powerful men, they have daughters. Because Clinton and Bush both had daughters, right? Both had two daughters. But Trump blew that. So did Biden. He blew that for me. But Bush and Clinton both had two daughters, and Obama, two daughters. So yes, Bush, Clinton, Obama all had two daughters. So in a row, I was like, yeah, two daughters, powerful men. That's how it worked. In comes Trump and Biden blowing my game. So yes, I am a girl dad. Is that the thing? I am that 100%. Yes. Literally says, but Trump said it was going to be free and he would mandate to force the insurance companies to offer it. I hope that is wrong. That is no. When you say it like that, no, that is terrible. No, not for that. Thank you, Liberty. You made that clearer. Thank you. That is much clearer. Okay. No, now I can tell you that is a bad idea. No. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Now we're clearer. You made that very crystal clear. I got it now. Good. PM Call says the last info from our Secretary of State in Kentucky is that Kennedy is on the ballot. Oh, okay. There we go. So maybe he is on the ballot. That's what I saw. So we'll see. We'll see if that's true. So in any case, all righty. Clinton just had Chelsea. Wait a minute. Yes, had daughters, not two daughters, had daughters. Thank you. Yes. Clinton just had one daughter. Thank you, Paula, for that clarification. Clinton had one daughter. Bush had two daughters, and Obama had two daughters. So yes, that's what I was saying. They were all girl dads. So yes, they were all girl dads. And there we go. So Joe has to smack me. Thank you, Joe, for the smack. Didn't Cheney have two daughters? Yes, but I didn't want to talk about Cheney because I'm not a Cheney fan. I'm not any of those fans, but Cheney's worse than all of them. So no, he didn't, Joe. I'm just making that up. No, he doesn't. Yes. Mike says, technically, Trump has two daughters. True, but also 3 sons. But yes. So you know what? I like that. I'm going to say that that's true. Yeah, see? The cool people have 2 daughters. Thank you, Mike. Yeah. Just going to say that. I'm just going to make stuff up. So yes, absolutely. Ryan says Dick Cheney is Satan. Paula, Cheney's are vampire. See what you did, Joe? That's your fault, Joe. That's your fault. Yes. Shelly says, I have 4 daughters. It was a stress fest raising them, but they came out incredibly great. Aw. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Thank you. That's great. I'm so glad that happened. Yes, I know. You know, having daughters is challenging. I think having sons is challenging too. I just think it's different. I always wanted to raise a boy also. So maybe one of my girls will give me a grandson maybe, and I'll get to raise a boy too. I'll just take their kid. My kid now. Maybe I get to raise a boy too. I would like to raise a boy also. So far, I'm happy with my daughters. Let's hope I stay that way. We'll see. But yes, that's what I think will happen. I hope that will happen in the case. So yes. All righty. Daniel says, I haven't heard anything about Make America Healthy Again since Arizona. I hope Trump didn't change his mind. No, Daniel, I have seen it everywhere. I have seen them. Is it Maha? I don't know how they're pronouncing it, but I have seen Make America Healthy Again all over social media. I mean, everywhere. Hashtagging it all over the place. I think it's becoming more popular than I thought. I'm surprised how popular it's becoming. I didn't know it would become that popular, but it really has gained traction, is what I'll say. Yes, good to go. Sarah says, I do think Trump might have changed. I say Bobby is the ghost of Christmas future to Trump's Ebenezer Scrooge. Ooh, I like that, Sarah. I'm going to steal that and probably give you no credit. I'm probably going to take it and act like I made it up. But you'll know, at least when I say it. You'll see me say it in like some show. You'll be like, that was mine. It'll be yours, but I'll just steal. I'm not sure I'm going to give you any credit. I like that. Bobby is the ghost of Christmas future to Trump's Ebenezer Scrooge. I think it could be, right? Look, again, I don't know. I don't want to put this as in I know. I just know it could happen and has happened to many people. I could see that. If someone told me that later, I'd believe it completely. It does make a lot of sense. So, yeah. Morgan says, I was thinking what a near-death experience. And then I remember the attempted assassination. Yes, the media is influencing my memory. Morgan, thank you so much for that. Before I go down that road, I want to grab one more. Mike says, trauma changes people and their minds. Yes, absolutely, 100%. So let me grab what you were just talking about here. What near-death experience? This was a back and forth for these guys. Trump gets shot. A week later, Harris is the new empress, right? Like a week later, Harris is the new empress. Done. The emperor, what was it? The king is dead, long live the king. In this one, the emperor is dead, long live the empress. Just all of a sudden, she is now there, right? And took everything. Everybody forgot that he got shot. You forgot too. I forgot. We all forgot, right? Because now the empress is here. Now we're going to have a DNC convention. Now we're going to have a Beyonce concert. Who cares about Trump getting shot? Whatever. But the same thing happened. The Republicans did back to the Democrats. Democrats, again, great move. I mean, again, whether you like them or not, I always respect the game, right? Well done. Well done. Took that right away. Morgan, worked for you. Worked for me too. Worked for half of America at least. They forgot he got shot. That picture, what picture? What happened? I don't know. Gone. But now, all of a sudden, we're anointing Empress Harris, first of her name, and all of a sudden now, everything's changing. And now, all of a sudden, Bobby Kennedy becomes Maha, Make America Healthy Again. And Trump has got Tulsi Gabbard on the train and all that stuff. We're like, Empress who? What happened? Empress who? Yeah. Why think she has to have this interview? Because we forgot about her again. Because everyone's talking about Bobby Kennedy Jr. That last weekend, all about Bobby Kennedy Jr. And it should have been about the Empress and how wonderful she was and joy and freedom and all that stuff. It should have been about that. It wasn't. It was about Bobby Kennedy Jr. So one good turn deserves another. That's what I would say. One good turn deserves another. That's it. So, yes, we'll grab that one. All righty, if I can keep going down here. Joe says, speaking of vice presidents, how is the Al Gore going on this stream? Yes, Al Gore, last name, Rhythm. Thank you for reminding me, Joe. I'm no longer mad at you for calling me Dick Cheney. You are now forgiven for that because you just reminded me that it's time to tell everybody here to please punch the button that is like. Do that. Hit it with any appendage you feel appropriate or multiple appendages. I don't really care which one you choose. Pick any of your many digits that you may use and touch that button that is like so that I can get a like on this thing, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, wherever you're watching. Click the button that is like. It does matter. I am constantly shadow banned. The only way around it is to do that. If you're watching on either Twitter or Facebook, then please share this or repost this or re-X this or retweet this or read the appropriate thing so that other people can see it. If you are on YouTube and you have not subscribed, I am taking this as you think Dick Cheney is a wonderful person. Take that. So subscribe. Click the subscribe button. It's free. You can just do it. It is okay. You can just hit that subscribe button. It really is okay. And if you have done that, then do one more thing if you would. And that one more thing is hit the notification button. Notification button does matter. Please do that if you can. The notification button helps tremendously because now you'll get linked every time something pops up. You will know. You will know. And here's the cool overlay, which you can see now. Watch. Here it pops up. See? Do what it says. Moving and stuff in front of me. It says click subscribe. Do that. It says click like. Do that. Notification. Do that. Follow what the little bell says. It's telling you to do that. Do that. It's easy. All right. Thank you for that. I hope you guys will be doing that. In addition, if you want to get your chat to the front, you can always super chat me if you're on Larry Sharpe YouTube. You can also become a member. Click that join button, $5 a month. I spend more time doing this and less time doing my other job, right? So do this if you want this. I can do this more and more and more. Please do that. All righty, let me keep going down here if I can. Sarah says, Maha got traction. Yes, absolutely. Yes, mega, make Earth great again. Bobby's old slogan did not track. Yeah, that's kind of gotten forgotten. Some people still put it in there once in a while, but most of them remember what it is. It did not land. Maha is, if it is Maha, is it Maha? Maha, whatever. It is absolutely working. That has been going. Paula says right here, Maha is huge now. Yep. I think people are looking for that or something like that. Americans are sick in more ways than one. Agreed 100%. 100%. Yes. Jackie says, is the country screwed? At the moment, yes. But I don't think it's permanent. I think we can fix it. I believe that we have to fix it. As I was talking earlier, I get where people are talking about how bad things are, Jackie. I do. I get it. I'm watching it. We all see it, right? But I think we can fix it. I think we can. And it's by creating some form of third party. Why is that so critical? Not because all of a sudden third party is going to win and take over the country and make things awesome by magic. No, because if we get a third party, we get a third voice, which means we get a referee. Look at the difference. And everyone here talking sees this. When it's just Harris and Trump talking, it always turns into you're evil, no, you're evil, no, you're bad, no, you're bad, no, you're lying, no, you're lying. It always goes there. But once you have a third party in there, like in this case, Bobby Kennedy Jr., but it doesn't have to be him, but he's the biggest, most popular one now and has the best chance of impact than anybody else, not even close. You do that, now all of a sudden we're talking about real issues. We're talking Maha. We're talking about health. We're talking about, fertility. We're talking about things that actually matter in people's lives. We're talking about the American dream. We're talking about affordability. We're talking about all the things that you actually care about. Becomes critical. You have a real conversation about stuff. This matters, right? This matters. And I know a lot of people are unhappy with certain things that Bobby says. I get it. I'm not happy with everything either. But at least he's having real conversations. And I know some of you got upset with Nicole Shanahan. But you know what she actually did? Which I know some people didn't like, but it was the right move in my eyes. Why? She was having doubts and concerns about what's happening. And she actually shared them and had a public conversation. Whether you're happy that Harris is the nominee or not, doesn't matter in one level. What does that mean? This was a behind-the-scenes piece. They didn't talk out loud with Democrats and have them discuss what was the issue, say the concerns about. No. They lied to the American people for months on how bad Biden was. And when they couldn't hide it anymore, they went behind closed doors and anointed Harris. How is that okay? But people are mad because Shanahan said, I've got concerns on how the system is crushing us. I don't know if we can make impact, and I want to make impact. I care about America, and I want to change things. I don't know if we can do it this way or not. And you're mad at her? What's wrong with you? Why are we punishing honesty? Why are we punishing openness and rewarding lying to us for months about Biden and then going behind closed doors and anointing Harris? Now, would I be upset if Harris was the nominee if Democrats had picked her? No, look, I'm not voting for Harris no matter what. I don't care. I'm not voting for her. I don't care how they picked her. I mean, I don't care who she is. I wasn't voting for her anyway. But I would have rather they had done it a Democratic way if I have a choice. They didn't. They went behind. The joke we always hear, I have won as many primaries as she has. Why am I not the Democratic nominee? We've won the exact same amount of primaries. So the country can be screwed, or is now at this moment, but it's fixable. And it must be fixed in the ballot box. The other alternatives, I don't want, Jackie. I don't want them at all. So, yes, Sarah says, Al Gore, that rhythm up. Yes, please. Absolutely. Everyone you can. I appreciate that. So, yes. All righty. Sarah says it would be an honor if you steal that, Larry. No credit needed. Just fantastic from an idolist. Thank you. I appreciate that. A fantasy from Matt. Thank you. I appreciate that. I might give you some credit. I might. Depends on if I can remember all that cool stuff. So, yes. Faithful Friend says, Saul of Tarsus on the road to Damascus had an existential experience. He then became totally changed, a disciple of Jesus, and probably his greatest follower. Yes, and that's, by the way, that's when he changed his name to Paul. He was Saul. After he had his experience on the road to Damascus, he became Paul, which is why many people will say things like, did he have his road to Damascus experience from that exact story? Thank you so much, Faithful Friend. I do appreciate that. And I do think significant emotional events can change people. That is how it works. They absolutely can change it. So, yes, in any case. All right, so if I can go down here. Jackie says, was Trump getting shot a conspiracy by the Biden administration? I do not think so at all. I don't think so at all. I think the errors that were made were not malicious. In other words, I don't think the agents on the ground were part of something or trying to get him, whatever. I think what happened was it was negligence at the top, and I'm glad that director is gone. You could see it already. See it with Bobby, see it with all of them, right? They just didn't care. They put local people, literally local people, in charge of areas that they shouldn't have been in charge with. Not that the cops weren't doing their best they could do. Remember, the cop climbs up, doesn't know what to expect, is shocked and surprised. These are local cops. They know local things, and they're good at local policing. How can you, if the local police force, to know how to protect the president? You didn't train them. You didn't talk to them. You said, okay, that building is yours. And the people who were there were the third string people supporting Trump. Again, not mad at the agents. They didn't have resources. They didn't have training. How do I know that? If you remember, after Trump gets shot and he's on the ground and they want to pick him up, one of the guys who knows what to do comes in to get Trump out of there. And he goes, okay, we'll make the move 1-3. 1, 2, 3, go. Nobody moves. Why did nobody move? They weren't trained. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to do it. Remember, they get up and they try to grab stuff. They were untrained. I'm not mad at any of those law enforcement officers. I don't think any of them were bad people. They were doing the best they could with what they had. They were untrained and they were third string, and that was on purpose, not as a conspiracy, as negligence. They didn't care. If something happened, what are you going to do? That's how it was. That is what I honestly believe. Now, was there some other group of people doing stuff? Maybe. I'm not saying there wasn't some outside conspiracy. Perhaps I'm open to that concept, maybe. But internally, the actual officers, I don't buy that at all. I think they were thrown into a bad spot with poor training, with low expectations, and their seniors didn't care at all. You can see when that woman was doing when she was getting grilled by Congress, she was like, whatevs. That's how she was talking, like whatevs. She was literally saying, we just thought, no, it's a slope roof. What are you going to do? That's how she was talking. So I do not think it was a conspiracy by the administration. I think it was negligence by the administration. Negligence is what I think it was. And there might have been something outside, but I don't blame those individual officers. They were put in a spot they were just unprepared for, and they were hoping that you could just blame those guys instead. That part to me that's what I think is absolutely crazy. So anyway, I hope I answered your question at least. So, all right. Anti-capitalist says, wait, who's Emperor Harris? I thought Trump and Bobby running against some guy named Harrison Waltz. That's not bad. I like that. That's pretty good. Yeah. Mike says, I think of Hawaii when I hear Maha. I'll take it. I will take that. Absolutely. I love that. Colini says, smooch Larry's button already. I like the smooch. That's good. I like that. Nico says, nice. Mahalo. Well done, Nico. Nicely done. Mahalo. And now they have Tulsi, so they can do Mahalo. I love that. They can do Mahalo. That's awesome. All good. So William says, make America a republic again. Mara? That doesn't flow. I don't like that. The anti-corporate says, third party equals kingmakers. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to fight that. I would totally take that. No worries. I would take that. They have to exist. They need to exist. Otherwise, we just fight each other because we give somebody no place else to go, right? And again, what you see right now, look at people like the Joe Rogans of the world. Is Joe Rogan some right-winger? No, he's not. I was on a show. I actually, if you saw when I was on a show, I literally insulted him in like the first 10 minutes, and I called him a Democrat as an insult because he was fighting my teacher changing my teacher. I fought him. I insulted him by calling him a Democrat. The guy supported Bernie Sanders. He's not some crazy right-winger. But the problem is when you only have two options only, and the left didn't like him anymore, so they called him names and said he was terrible. What's he going to do? I guess he goes to Republican now. He's a righty, I guess. That's what happens. They make him that he becomes that. But what if you got two or three other parties? He can become a libertarian, become a Green Party, become a whatever, right? He can go someplace else if he wants to, become a We the People Party guy, whatever, be an independent. He can do those things. And now he can be his own person and not be put into a box. Now he can decide which one he wants to jump on board now. Now he almost has no choice but to go, I'm going to vote for Trump or whatever. Of course he does that. What else going to do? Of course. Versus instead, being able to go, no, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, whatever the case may be. I think that changes if we have multiple parties. I'm totally okay for that. So, yes. All righty. So many of these. I appreciate them. All righty. Sarah says, what about the shooter's connection to BlackRock? That's what I'm saying. I'm open to the idea of it being some type of thing. It's possible, right? I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm saying internally, I don't believe there was any kind of conspiracy internally. There may have been an external one. It's possible. I don't know if we've done the homework yet on that. If someone has, I'm happy to see it or talk about it. But I don't think it was internal is my issue. And I think he was talking about the Biden administration. I don't think that was the case. If I saw evidence, I'd be open to change, but I don't think so. Gene says, near-death experiences do change people. I've had 3. First, at the hands of my first husband. I think you brought this up once before, Gene, and I appreciate you sharing that so much. Every time you share that, you allow somebody else to feel good about that. And that they're not the only one. It isn't just them. So I appreciate that. Second, giving birth to my first child. And third, last year when I had an allergic reaction and woke up in the ICU. Yeah, I think they can. I would argue that not only is it near death for yourself that can change you, but near death for someone you love can also change you. Surely differently, right? And I've said for myself, when my daughter was 18 days old, my second daughter had to have open heart surgery. And it was devastating. We thought she was going to die. I thought I was going to lose her. I did. And it really did change how I thought about life, things I was thinking about. It really did. My wife too. Same. Changed us. I mean, different level, but yeah, I think near death can change people in many ways. I completely agree. Thank you for sharing that. So, yes. Thomas says, Harris' endorsement by Biden was his middle finger to Democratic establishment. RFK's endorsement of Trump was his middle finger to Democratic establishment. I wish more Democrats would give the Democratic establishment the middle finger. Why do you think Biden's endorsement of Harris was a middle finger? I'm not sure I get why you think that, Thomas. I feel like they embraced her immediately. I think it was maybe a deal that he made. What I mean by that is, obviously, he did not want to go. And people like Nancy Pelosi and said, oh, no, you going. You going, right? Hard way to easy way, but you gone. You gone. Just how are we doing this? And I think what he said was, all right, I'll go. Harris, we're backing her. Then I'll walk away. No fight, I walk away. I smile and I walk away. We're putting Harris in. I'm responsible for the first woman president. I was the VP for the first black president. I'm responsible for the woman's president. I'm good. I think that might have happened. I don't think it was a middle finger, though. I think it might have been a deal. Now, again, I have no evidence to what I just said. That is what I'm saying could have happened based upon Thomas's question. If I think I have evidence, I will tell you that. I'm not saying that happened, but I could see that happening, and that might be a thing, right? That I can say. I'm not sure if I'd put it that way. So, yeah. Gwen says, I had a near-death experience years ago. It totally changed my outlook on life. I'll add one more piece, right? Sometimes just losing somebody close to you can do the same thing sometimes too. My father died when I was 11. Changed my life too. Changed my life. Yes. So Matt I says, Casey means the doctor's name candidate Kaylee is her brother. Huh? Oh, Casey means. Gotcha. Yes. Oh, it's about a doctor. Yeah. This is not for me, but yes, this piece. Thank you for bringing this up, Matt. This was talking about by that Plum book I talked about earlier today. Plum book is the book that the president uses to actually name all the people as the name. He will give people in the transition team a certain amount of people they have to place. And I'm telling you, the means will be in there and Bobby will be putting them in those places. So yes, absolutely. Mike remembers the count. Yes, you remember that. It was crazy. They didn't move up to the count. I couldn't believe it. Me either. That's why that's stuck in my head, Mike. You get it. See, Mike's a Marine like I am. And when you're in the military, particularly infantry, Marines like that, you get trained to just do things. Like you get set and it's done. Boom, boom, you know how to do the thing. And when shit is the fan, you know how to react, to do, to go. It's what you do. And them not doing it is like, what? They didn't go through the drills. If they had gone, Mike, you get it. If they had gone through those drills, he'd have said 1, 2, 3. He'd have been up and out. Would have been gone. He had to explain. The dude had to explain to him. Okay, you could watch the audio. The dude's explaining. And then Trump's like, let me get my shoe. What's going on? Like, they didn't do the drill with him. Like, Trump didn't know. How can you not do that drill? Like, how can you not do that drill? The simplest drill. If he gets shot, get him out of there. I know. You couldn't believe it, me either. That was crazy. That's why I remember it so much, right? That's why I remember it so much. It just drives me crazy, drives me crazy. All right. Raza says, I think Trump is so evil. He's using it to manipulate Bobby if possible. Bobby said, keep your enemies close. Huh. Why? I don't know. I'm not sure where you're going with that, Raza. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't see where you're going with that. If he was that, how was he manipulating him? I feel, he's using the event and he's not really changed and he's saying it so that Bobby believes him. I guess I could see that. Okay, so your piece is he actually wasn't changed and that he's saying he was changed because Bobby would believe that, and that's what got Bobby to join him. I mean, maybe, but then he got everyone else in Bobby's circle to believe that too. And then no one is going to give that up. He told nobody else that, and that's some kind of conspiracy. Not sure. And then why do you put him on transition team? Now he's going to have access to the Plum book to make actual changes. Make him a consultant. Don't put him on transition, make him a consultant. Maybe. I see your logic, and I think it could be true. I don't buy it, though. I don't buy it because if that's happening, then what's going to happen, right? When he wants to put Bobby on, no doubt guys like Vance are like, boss, what are you doing? His team's like, boss, what are you doing? You bringing Bobby on here. What are you doing? Guaranteed someone's going, what are you doing? They're not Republicans. What are you doing? You can't do that. Someone on this team told him that. I'm guaranteed someone said that, right? Because there are people who are ideologues on his team who'd be like, I don't want Bobby Kennedy on his team. What are you doing? So Trump has to go, don't worry, I'm lying. I'm just saying and then they all go, okay, go ahead, boss, lie. I think he's got it, unless he's lying to his own team now. So Trump is lying to his own team. The more I think about it, the more I think it's not true. I'm not saying what you're saying couldn't be true. I don't see it. I think Trump believes it, even if he may change his mind. That's my worry. My worry is Trump thinks it's great now and then goes, yeah, nah, I changed my mind. Now that I won, I'll do what I want. Right? That is what I see. Right? I could see that happening. I could definitely see him all of a sudden change his mind afterwards going, yeah, I know I won, but it's over. And, it's fine. Whatever. I do think that could have happened. So, yeah. Jess says, I've never thought Rogan was some right winger, and Trump supporters clung to him. When he spoke at the Independent, he's a little more, as the Independent, a little more clearly, they attacked him. How were they shocked? I agree. You attack somebody. You remember, if you guys watched, did you see how Shanahan and how Bobby Kennedy Jr. were talking about, stopping the candidacy and, stopping the campaign in 10 states, and now, shifting everything to just 5%, shifting everything to 5%. You saw they were talking. Nicole Shanahan was obviously hurt. Bobby Kennedy was obviously hurt. These guys were Democrats. Both of them, they were Democrats, right? They thought, clearly incorrectly, they thought the Democratic Party was their party and that they could change it and that they could do this. They believed that. Of course, they were Democrats. And all of a sudden now they're like, oh no, Democratic Party didn't only tell them no, but actively went attack them, made them feel like losers, made them feel like horrible human beings. They were terrible to them. Obviously, horribly terrible to them. Of course they felt betrayed. Of course they felt angry. Rogan too. Rogan was supporting Bernie Sanders. Rogan's not some crazy right-winger or whatever. That's not who he is. He thought Democrats were his friends. And all of a sudden now they're attacking him, calling him names, trying to get him canceled. He's like, what? Of course he goes to the other side. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? That was the issue. I got to tell you, I had an issue when I was running for office. And when I was running for office in 2018, the Democrats were horrible to me. And I don't mean like throw them off the ballot. They weren't doing that. But they were just mean and nasty to me and dismissive towards me. Horribly. Just everything I said, I'm stupid, I'm crazy. Horrible towards me. To the point where I found out later, and this happened to me unbeknownst to me, to be very forward with you, I started having a more right-leaning campaign, and I started to be almost anti-democratic in how I talked and anti-left. And luckily, I have a lot of people on my team, and I have many people on my team who are more left-leaning than others. I had that in my team. I had a very diverse team. And one of the guys is like, Larry, why do you all of a sudden hate Democrats? I don't hate Democrats. Why'd you say that? You hate love? I don't hate love. What are you talking about? I thought he was wrong. And he's like, no, Larry, look, you got a bias, man. I'm seeing it. Look at what you're saying. What are you doing? So I started to look at myself. And I realized he was right. I had come up with a bias against Democrats and the left because they treated me so poorly. It was just response. And I didn't see it, right? So I didn't think I was doing this. When he put it up to me and I said no, I wasn't lying to him. I honestly thought I did not have a bias. I believed I was wrong, but I believed it. So when I actually started looking back and doing some introspection, I was like, this dude's right. I started changing it. And many of you notice after 2018, I started going out of my way, talking better to the left because I knew I had burned some bridges in the way I had communicating with the left. And I said, I got to talk back to him. I got to be better. And people say, why would you talk to them? We're so mean to you. And my point was, I can't turn the left if I can't talk to the left. I can't just make him my enemy. I'm going to talk to him so I can turn him. I got to show people that the left isn't crazy. But I felt that way because of the negativity they had gone towards me. And the reverse happened in 2022. I've been very open to conservatives in my state because they don't like our state, so they were open to talking to me. So I was very open to them. In 2022, they're the ones who threw me off the ballot. Republicans and conservatives sued me off the ballot in 2022. And I started feeling the opposite. I was like, the hell with those guys. I started being anti-conservative. I did. But luckily, because of my experience in 2018, I didn't need someone to tell me that. I figured it out quickly and I changed. So most people didn't even notice it. But you heard me today. I still say horrible things about the Republican leadership in my state all the time. I have not forgiven them. I haven't. And you will hear me scold them and talk horrible about them all the time. I did by name today. You heard me by name. I scolded them because those are the guys who screwed me over in 2022. So I was better. I'm better now. See that, Pinkerbell? I'm better. I did not attack the entire group of people anymore. I learned my lesson from 2018. Now I only attack the individuals who did the bad thing. I don't want to be that guy. I tell you not to be that guy. And what you will hear me say all the time, and I believe this, I can't point my finger at you until I point it at me first. And I really like pointing my finger at you. I do. I like it a lot. So I got to point my finger at me a whole lot so I can point my finger at you. So yes, I get it. They attacked him. He wanted to get back. Nicole Shanahan felt terrible, betrayed. I get it. I felt it too. But as we move on, we have to only be mad at the individuals, not at the group of people. That's not the right answer. We can't. It's a bad idea. So I'm not going to do that. I am going to not do that. So yes. All right. Let me keep going on if I can. All righty. Let's see here. Roy says, Biden chose Kamala to be VP. Why wouldn't he pick her to VP? I don't know, Roy, before. I've never met Biden, don't know him at all. It could be that he actually likes her and thinks she's the right person. Maybe. It could be he picked her just to become president and actually doesn't like her as president. Maybe. I actually don't know. It's a good question. I don't think I have an answer. But I think either's possible. It's possible that he actually likes her, thinks she's the right person. Possible. And possible he's like, nah, she was the right, she checked the right box for me in 2020 and otherwise I don't care. I think either of those are possible. I actually don't know. I don't know enough about him to actually answer that question. And he may not care either way. I mean, maybe he doesn't care at all. Third option, he may not care. He'll be like, whatever. What do I do? I'm out, so I'm out. It could be that too. I'm just saying, if there is some kind of conspiracy, I think it'll be him saying, this is what I want to drop out instead of having to have the fight. I don't know if he cared to have a fight or not. So yeah, I hope I answered your question at least. So, all righty. See if I grab a couple more of these. There's so many of these things. I do apologize to this guy. Okay, if Trump gets 270 on 1/6, Jimmy Raskin and Democrats said they still might stop him for president due to the 14th Amendment. Oh, yeah. See, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And for those who know, the 14th Amendment says that you cannot be an officer, a federal officer, if you were charged or you were part of an insurrection or something like that, or gave comfort and abetted an insurrection. And that was during Civil War. They didn't want any of the Confederacy leaders becoming federal officers again. They want to say, you guys can't. Other people in your states can, but you guys cannot. You led the Civil War. You can't do it. That was the goal of that. So one of the reasons why they wanted Trump to be called an insurrectionist, one of the reasons they wanted it, is because then by 14th Amendment, he could not be president. Now they sued. And what makes me angry is the way they dealt with that was terrible. They basically said, well, the president's not an officer. Utter garbage. Just say it's true or it isn't. Just say it's true or it isn't. Right? Just make the ruling. Does he have to be convicted or not? Right? He wasn't convicted because he wasn't removed, right? Does it be removed or not? Right? Is that the answer? Make a stance, Judge. Say it. Say, no, he must be removed. Okay, then he's an insurrectionist and he can't come back. Okay, got it, done. Okay, or no, he has to be this. Make a ruling. Say what the rules are. Is it a felony conviction? Is it not? Is it removed? Is it impeached? What's the answer? And then what has to be the charges? Are this charge, that charge? Just make the rule. And now we know, okay, if he's charged with X and impeached, he's considered this. If he is this, whatever, nothing. Just, well, kick it down a can, let it go. Terrible answer. I can't stand that. But so the answer would be Raskin would show up. I don't know if that's true, but Raskin will show up and go, no, you can't be president. We don't accept it. That would be Horrible, Mike. I hope you are wrong on that one. Or hope they're bluffing. I mean, Raskin could be bluffing. I hope they're bluffing. Right? That gets he gets election votes on that one. So yes. Ryan, thank you for the $10, my friend. I appreciate it. He says, my cousin, who's a leftist Democrat, reported me to Facebook, calling me his idiot libertarian cousin. I called him out on his anti-Catholic meme that featured drag queens dressed as nuns. So he puts drag queens dressed as nuns, and you're the crazy one. That's how that works. You're the idiot libertarian. That's how that works, Ryan. Wow. But the bad part is, again, Bobby Kennedy Jr. suing Meta. Absolutely suing Meta. And what just recently happened? Mr. Zuckerberg came out and said, yeah, we did some bad stuff, and we shouldn't have. Here's what I hope is true. I hope we as a nation have learned a lesson on this. I don't know we have. I hope we have. I hope the next time we try something like this, we just say no. We do what Elon Musk said and go, no, we're not doing it. In the long run, we get screwed over. I hope we don't. I appreciate that. So Paula says, I don't think Trump is that good of an actor to fool Bobby. Plus, Bobby's seen a lot in his life. He was born to this. Yeah, maybe. That's why I'm not sure. I'm not buying that. I'm with you, Paula. I'm not buying that Trump is fooling them thing. I mean, again, it's possible, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Yes. The anti-corporate says, what are you talking about? Nicole Shanahan was on a podcast saying they would drop out so as not to block Trump. Was that for me? I'm not sure that was for me or for not. I saw the podcast. I saw her. Yeah. I definitely saw it. I don't. Yes. Nicole Shanahan is not pro-Trump as much as she is anti-Harris. That makes any sense, right? She's like the opposite of most Democrats, right? Most Democrats who are voting now, many of them are just like, orange man bad. Doesn't matter. Orange man bad. Harris is all these things. Doesn't matter. Orange man bad. All these terrible. Doesn't matter. Orange man bad. They just installed somebody. Orange man bad. Can you not hear me? Orange man bad. That's all that matters. So many Democrats are that way. I think she's kind of the opposite. She's like Harris bad. Harris bad. So I think that's what it is. So it isn't that she's pro-Trump, that she's anti-Harris. Do you see the nuance I'm making on that one? I think that's the difference. I don't think she is pro-Trump. I think she's anti-Harris. I think that's the issue. I hope I'm clear on that. So, all right. Sarah says, so many of us thought Democrats were our friends. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. So, there we go. All righty. If I do want to grab a couple more again. Before I do that, by the way, before I do that, I want to make sure that you guys are indeed clicking the button that is like. I know I say it. Please do so if you can. Follow me on Twitter. Please follow. Please share to the best of your ability. Subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. Do all the things. If you want to super chat me, I appreciate that always. But please do all the things. Every one of you haven't yet. And if you're on YouTube, Larry Sharpe YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Every subscription gives me more chances for people to see it. Bell for notifications. Every one of those shows that you care, right? So please, if you can do that, it does matter tremendously. I know I say all the time, but it does matter. Please do it. Yes. All right. All righty. Jess says, yes, I often say no change happens because we're too busy pointing fingers at the neighbor's yard while our own weeds are growing. 100%. Yes. Yes, yes. And yes, absolutely. So Jackie has a lot of interesting questions. Would Republican states win a civil war? That's not how a civil war would work if there was one. Not how it worked. The country is not broken up that way. The country is Balkanized, as they say, from the Balkans in Southern Europe. When the Ottoman Empire came into the Balkan area, the Muslim overlords controlled most of the cities. And according to Islamic law, the way the Ottomans were taking Islamic law, they were saying it doesn't mean that we have to take people of the book, which was their view. People of the book means if you are Muslim, Christian, or Jew, so basically Abrahamic religions, those people you can't kill or force become Muslim. That's how they interpreted Islamic law at that point. And they said, but you can encourage them with punishment like taxation and such, and punishment and things like that. So what they did is if you were not one of the Abrahamic religions, you weren't a human. It doesn't matter. If you were one of those two, okay, we're not going to kill you. That's just fine. But, oh, you want to work in the city? Yeah, no, you got to be a Muslim. Oh, you want a license? Oh, it costs triple if you're not a Muslim. Things like that. They would do those types of things. What wound up happening? People who lived and worked in cities became Muslims because it became easier to do work because of the system. So many parts of certain areas, particularly Yugoslavia, but other areas, you had Muslim cities and then Orthodox Christian rural areas. So when the Balkan Wars happened, they often were horrible civil wars. Muslims and Christians in the same cities, cities versus rural. That's what America is like. America isn't Republican states. Every state is red. Every state is red with blotches of blue cities. If you have larger blotches of blue, your state becomes blue. New York State is a perfect example of that. If you go outside of our cities, New York State's a red state, right? Most of our counties are red. It's a red state. But the blue blotches are so thick and so big. All of them. People go, it's New York City versus the rest. Not true. It's all the cities. Buffalo is blue. Rochester is blue. Syracuse is blue. Albany is blue. Ithaca is blue, right? All the cities are blue. And of course, New York City, the massive blotch. Almost, 40% of the population? Blue. So New York State becomes a blue state because of its large cities and population and its sparse rural population. So there is no such thing at this point as Republican states. It'll be rural versus cities versus urban. It will be nasty. So there we go. Hope I answered that question. So, yeah. All righty. Sarah says, one of Bobby's supporters coined the phrase, Shanahan and the man. 2028. He might do it. He might do it. You never know. It's possible. I like that. Joe says, grow gardens, not the government. That's good. Absolutely. So, all righty. Daniel says, I haven't given up the hope of purple states created from this election. I hope you are right. I hope you are right. That will be amazing. I hope you are right. Guys, I'm going to ask two things of you if I could. Two things. Number one, if you like this podcast, if you like this show, if you like this episode, you can watch another one right away. Just put it on. Walk away. I don't care. You know who likes that? Mr. Rhythm. Al Gore, Mr. Rhythm, he loves that. He also loves, if after this is over, whenever you come back on Facebook, back on YouTube, back on Twitter, you find this again and then and put a comment. I'll respond to your comment. Mr. Rhythm loves that. I have to keep him happy so I can keep this thing moving. So please do that. Either immediately put another video on right away. Just put it on. If you watch it, also if you don't, it's fine. Or instead, come back afterwards and actually put a comment and I'll respond. Guys, you gave me almost 2.5 hours tonight. I appreciate your time. I hope I answered all your questions. I walked down every road I could possibly walk down. That's what the AMAs are for. I will not be on tomorrow. I'll be spending time with my amazing daughter tomorrow. I will not be on tomorrow, but I will be on Monday, 9 p.m. The Sharpe Club is back with some cool people, to include the one and only, our returning champion, Michael Voss will be there on Monday evening. I will see you all.